Are we in? We're in. We're on the screen, and we're unmuted. I feel like such a rookie. We haven't done this, and the couch is crooked.
It's fine.
A little. We're gonna leave it because we were tinkering.
We were live for a second.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Okay,
Yeah,
let's give ourselves a break.
Okay, so you guys are seeing all that, which is weird.
Unfortunate.
Yep. It'll get there soon. Oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to use these glasses.
So double thumbs up if you can hear us and see us okay. See, I didn't even have to ask. They're not
They know.
rookies.
They're not
they
rookies.
know. We've got the OGs in the house, and they know.
They know what they're doing.
So Piper and Stella are both here, but Stella's down on the floor enjoying some of the AC that's blowing in. Piper just doesn't want to be away, so.
You might be able to see Stella right about here if I move my arm. Yeah, she's right down there. And that arm too. Yeah, she's right there.
The little white bar.
Okay.
Oh God, we might be back.
I think we're back. Let's just.
So what's happening with the camera?
I don't know. I want to see if it comes back over there though. We got microphone. Yeah, it disconnected down there. I don't know if it was the actual wire or if it was a software thing.
Well, the important thing is we're back.
We're back. And
I
know it yelled at me at one point because it didn't want to stream to Twitter. It was like, we can't go to Twitter. I'm like, well, I don't care about Twitter.
Well, that's because it's called X now.
Because it's all right. It could be. It's called X now.
It's not Twitter.
So I don't know.
Here.
This is very stressful.
Here. I have a de-stressor.
Yep. Let's try that again. We're back.
This.
Okay, somebody just put up something. All good now. Thank you.
Oh, and Night fired you again.
Fire me all you want. I really don't care. I'm in a mood, so this might not be fun. I'm just kidding. I'm here to have a good time.
8 months and he's in a mood.
I just knew it wasn't going to go smooth. I dropped my glasses and looking at the screen with these glasses is driving me crazy. And yes, they're the new ones.
Mm-hmm.
We changed our transition.
Anyway,
not transition.
So welcome to everybody. I'm not sure. There's 400 people watching us act like fools right now, not knowing what we're doing. And just wanted to welcome everybody, new, old. I don't mean old as an age.
Even if you are old, welcome.
Yeah. So this is our Q&A, and we sit down usually a little more frequently than once every 8 months. But you know, life happens.
This thing called life.
And you are in a mood. You're a little salty today. Yeah. Did you get salt water in your eye?
No.
You're a little.
Part of our problem too.
Anyway.
They may come back. They may not.
So, but yeah, so we're going to sit down and we're going to go over some questions that were submitted first. And if there's still time at the end of all of this, and we'll go over some questions that we see pop in chat.
And some that are still stuck in email, maybe.
Yep. And if you sent in a question and it's either a question that we've answered like at nauseation, like we've answered it a lot. We might not touch upon it. If you submitted a question and it was as salty as Aaron's mood, we're not going to talk about that either. So, yeah.
And I like salt better than sugar. All right, put it in the chat. Salt or sugar?
Oh.
First question of the day. Oh, and by the way, we have a giveaway too. We're giving away two things of soap in our random number generator giveaway. The chat messed up too, by the way.
Are
you see that?
Salty? No, the chat.
Your chat is on
fine.
top chat only. You want it on
We
live chat. Live chat. Look at all those people that like salt. There they go. Yeah. Yep.
Sugar.
Crackers over sugar. All right, where are we starting?
Honey, honey.
Where are we
Are
starting?
you dancing?
We're starting with there's some
Are
crazy
you?
rain going on in Connecticut right now where
Holy
some
gosh.
people are literally being told by the National Weather Service to retreat to higher ground now.
Explanation mark.
Like, it's
Like,
pretty
that's in the
bad
warning.
over in the Fairfield County, New York, Connecticut side. Like 9 inches of rain so far
Yeah.
today.
9 inches of rain with like 2 more inches of rain coming, and it's like I feel terrible for them
It's bad.
because it's really, really bad. But I feel really like shameful for being like, thank God it's not here.
We can't handle that. We can handle about 1 inch of rain an hour this time of year because there's grass on the ground. As some of you know, our barn floods, and then our basement floods, and then everything goes. The front yard floods.
To shit in a
But we've
handbag.
learned.
By the way, it's not family friendly. We're
No.
usually family friendly around here, but after hours, which I know it's only 6 o'clock,
It's
but
after hours.
to me it's PM, and it's been like that for 6 hours already, so it's after hours. We can get a little salty. Well, you're already there.
I'm already there.
But-
We resorted to going to IKEA for fun. That's where we went today.
This
too.
was your idea,
I know,
too.
and it was a good time.
And it's taken me
until it
weeks to
wasn't.
get on board with that.
Yeah, I ate too many IKEA meatballs. And then, yeah, you know,
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Piper's doing good. Thanks for asking.
no, I'm sure there's some questions,
Somebody-
actually.
Somebody might have said something about
Thanks
that.
for asking, as everybody's like, I still like salt.
I still like salt. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love IKEA.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was, we drove an hour. We walked around IKEA. Tyler, Olivia came with. And then
It was
we
fine.
bought a couple little things.
It was
Some
fine.
things that'll end up in, product photography type stuff.
No.
I thought that round thing was for that.
That's for the dog's medication.
Are you saying that's way too big for dog medication?
Have you seen the pile
Yeah,
in the
but
collection?
they're done. Okay, the dogs were on a ridiculous amount of medication.
I had a
You might have
whole
saw it in one of the
pharmacy.
videos. Oh, thank you very much. That helped with the IKEA trip. You bought this.
I'm changing his mood tonight. That's my mission.
You bought this big round thing, and is it a Lazy Susan or no?
No.
It's just a tray.
That's so offensive to all the people named Susan. As if they're all
I'm not the
lazy.
one that named the Lazy Susan. I'm not the one that came up with, she's being a Karen. I didn't come up with that either. By the way, the drink's pretty good.
See, it's working. Have a little more.
We'll get there eventually.
Have a little more.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's for organization on the counter. Keeps everything in one little
wish
area.
I was consulted about why you were buying that round thing.
Well,
Because for
don't ask, don't
organization
tell.
on the counter, I would have gone with rectangle. Because it could have been tucked in the back of the counter, like under the cabinet, and it could have held everything.
Well, you
When you
clearly
go
didn't
round,
see the display,
covering
and
like
the display was nice.
half the counter I haven't finished yet.
Well, I'm
Here's another good question.
covering that up.
How's Hazel doing?
You are breaking our. I just set the rules for all of our new people, saying that we go to submitted questions first,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
and
know.
then when there's time left over, we go to.
Sorry, Claudia. Hazel's doing wonderful.
Really,
okay.
because 2 seconds ago you were like, and there's our problem.
Who? Hazel?
Because she
Or
was.
Claudia?
No. Claudia. Claudia's fine.
Okay. Yeah, no, Hazel is the problem right now. She's barking at her own shadow lately. But she's doing fine too. She's doing
She's
good.
like, Hazel, I like barking at her.
Oh yeah, she barks at Hazel. all the
Hazel's the
time,
reason Piper eats.
pretty much.
There's a story behind that.
Mhm.
It was unfortunate.
All right, here we go.
Oh, okay, we're getting to like written in questions.
We're gonna get to some of the written in questions if I
This
can
should be
see
good.
the screen. because I got new glasses.
Even
and
Liz's
they're
pills are on display.
still wrong.
Artistic.
Are they? Really? No.
No, she said even Liz's pill display is artistic.
Oh, yeah, no, it will be.
It will be.
Yep. Let's go to... Wow, they changed this whole software on me. Now I don't even know what I'm doing.
Oh, you didn't know what he was doing.
Like, if I push
before
that button... Oh, how pretty.
Can you focus and get to a question before we lose people? Somehow, we have more people than when we started.
It's good.
Which means
They're still here.
something's working.
They haven't been... Why do I look like a
Can you
Oompa Loompa?
please just
Okay.
focus?
I am focused, sort of. All right. Q&A.
Thank you, Mel.
What'd she say? What'd Mel say?
ADD is in full swing tonight.
Damn right. Proud of it. There we go. There's more IKEA help.
Oh,
Thank you very much. We didn't
Kat.
spend that much at IKEA. Actually, we did. Wow. It wasn't.
On Cinnabons alone.
Oh, yeah. Don't stay away from the Cinnabons. Yes. Yes. Stay away from the Cinnabons at IKEA, especially the warm ones. And the worst part,
Oh.
it was raining and windy. And on the walk to the car, the center of my Cinnabon almost fell out.
Almost. And that's, I think, where the mood started to shift.
Yeah, because I almost dropped the center of my Cinnabon.
Almost lost the center of the Cinnabon.
You were the smart one. Didn't eat till it got it in the car. Yep.
I mean, these are factual statements.
Yes. Okay, here we go. Question number
Finally.
1. Show the question.
Wait, I don't know if I'm answering these ones. Okay.
Well, she may or may not answer if I pop them on the screen.
Just wondering if you plan on breeding Harper this fall. So this was actually a popular question, and I thought we had already covered this.
And just so we know, it might say Kim asked the question. That means that was the first one I pulled out of the email before I plopped it on the screen, because this all takes a lot of work. If somebody else asked the question, I don't go back and change. Kim and Sue and Steve and Tom and all asked this question.
Kim and Village asked.
Yeah, there you go. Question
so
of the
I
night.
thought after last year when we said we weren't going to breed her, I thought we had mentioned that she was in retirement.
She is. She's retired.
So I haven't changed my mind about that, and she's very much happily living in retirement. So, and she looks good. You know, she's put some weight on. She runs a little thinner than I would personally like, but so did Sadie, and she was fine. So I just don't want to take the chance, and we have so many new girls coming up into the breeding program that I really don't need to.
No, Harper's definitely retired. I just saw another super chat come in. I can't see them really the greatest from way over here.
Oh, Carol Holbert, thank you.
Somebody just threw in another one. Thank you very much.
She's been MIA, but still love and support. Thank you.
We're going to go to the next question. Here it comes right there.
Can you change the angle? I don't
Of course, I'll get
like,
that.
Looking at the Piper. Diane, now that Chanel is being treated for parasites, will that make her ineligible for breeding? So
Very good question.
So Chanel is definitely a big question mark right now. You know, the maddening part about what happened with Chanel is that she was, we spot checked a couple of the girls. We'll pick 2 from Cassie's Castle, 2 from House of Pie 1 and 2, and maybe 1 or 2 from the boys. And we just try to, whether they look good or not. In this case, we picked Chanel and Greta because, and this was like Greta's 4th time. Could you?
That's a good one.
You're so distracting. I'll just start getting mad now.
Okay, go ahead.
Continue. Okay, keep yourself in check. So then, so we spot checked Greta and Chanel, and Greta because she was running thin, but she always runs thin while she's in milk. But I just want to make sure that she doesn't switch to, well, I'm thin now because I'm struggling with parasites. So we kind of keep checking her throughout the summer. And I remember doing this for the past 2 summers now. And every time her fecal sample comes back negative, and it's like, this is maddening because I can't get her to gain weight. So we did this spot check with everybody, and Chanel was part of my spot checked girls. And she came back at like, I don't know, 650 parasites in her sample, which is really borderline, like just kind of a normal load versus maybe it's time to think about treating. So sometimes Dr. Kara will say, you know, Chanel's fine, but if she's symptomatic, running thin and doesn't look good, then maybe you should treat her. So we treated her anyway. And then less than 2 weeks later, this was now during the height of the heat wave. 10 to 14 days later is when the girls all really started coming down with some diarrhea. And that's not a coincidence because the heat wave was exceptionally stressful on them, and they're in milk. And now it's, trying to keep that parasite bloom in check. And we were losing the whole parasite game. So with Chanel, we treated her before she even came down with the diarrhea. And then when she came down with it, we were like, but she shouldn't have any because her counts were so low. And now her, we treated with the parasites, she should have nothing. So I think what we really determined was that what we treated Chanel with didn't work for her that time. And so we had to go and do a different course of medication. And I think what was happening was because her load was so bad, which we don't even know what it was because we just had to treat before fecal came back. What we think was going to start happening, we started to preemptively treat with antibiotics because we were afraid that her intestines were getting so angry and so inflamed from the diarrhea and the parasites that she was going to get a secondary infection. And she was already starting to run a fever. So we definitely nipped that one in the butt, and we found the combination that worked for her. I know, am I boring you? But with that said, it's too soon to tell whether we'll be breeding Chanel, my very long-winded way of saying. She's going to remain a question mark for a while until it really depends on how fast can she put the weight back on.
One thing we were concerned with while treating her, and we consulted with the vet about it, is certain medications you don't want to use if you're going to breed within like a 30 to 60 day window. So we were very cognizant, is that the right word? Aware of that because the hope was to breed her. She was on that list, but we don't know yet, depending on how she bounces back.
Yeah, that's what it's really gonna.
Plus, very high level. I don't know if this is true or not, but we went over this once before. We were gonna max out at 7 breeders. That's the goal.
Right.
And we have way more than 7 that are pretty much able to breed this year. So we have to make the decision as to who's getting bred and who isn't.
Yeah.
So that's that. Here comes your next question.
Oh, see, from Claudia that
Claudia.
Thought
there was no problem with Claudia.
Right, it's just you. So this was also asked by a couple people. Are the Wynn twins and Finley and Fergie staying in Cassie's Castle?
It's a lot of abbreviations for the new people. WW equals Winnie and Winston.
Yeah.
FF is Finny and Fergie. CC is Cassie's Castle. Write that all down in your goat notebook. If you don't have one, moderators drop the link to the goat notebook. Shameless plug.
Well, Vicky started it because she said, everybody get your notebooks out, start taking notes.
Yeah.
Then somebody said, is there going to be a test at the end of this? And
yeah.
I'm pretty sure there is.
Yeah.
So Winnie and Winston, here's the plan. Finley and Fergie should stay in Cassie's Castle because they are eligible for being bred for the first time this year. So our hope is that Finley and Fergie will be pregnant and they'll be new moms in February or March. Just March. We can't do February this year.
Yeah, we're trying to aim for no February babies.
No February
All
babies
March
this year.
babies is the goal.
Yeah. And I guess we'll get there after.
We'll get there eventually.
So Winnie and Winston, Otis and Oakley, and Deja and Vera, those 6.
Winnie, Winston, Otis, Oakley, Deja, Vera. Yes.
Yeah, those 6. I have plans of moving all 6 of them closer to the time of kidding season. When moms start going into the birthing suites, we'll put those 6 into the red barn, and Mufasa, Vinny, and Ace will move into what used to be the Moo Crew.
Remember the TV show The Red Wing? They will move into the Red Wing.
The Red Wing.
Yeah.
It was the West Wing.
But yeah, you know what I meant. That sounded real good when I said it. Right, the red wing of the red barn. Yeah,
That was West Wing.
it
Anyway,
was.
so yeah, so that's kind of the plan right now, is to keep those 6 together. I'd like to keep them in a covered area just because Otis, Oakley, Vera, and Deja, they're half minis, so we want to make sure if it's a really harsh winter that they're going to be sheltered.
Yeah, and the wing of the red barn's totally fine for the other 3.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I'm just
Plenty
not
of
comfortable with the little
Now
ones.
they got room in, and they got the
Yeah.
loft and everything. They got plenty of room. Plenty of room. Can the 490 people that are here please subscribe? We are so close to 40,000.
We really are.
And I saw the other day that like 39% of the people that watch the live camera are not subscribed.
We'd already be there.
We'd already be there if they were. So just hit the button. It's free. It's down.
Well, and if we hit it, I'll make him a shot and make him
way over here. So I don't know how to do it. It's way over in that corner. Her corner. Yeah, right there where her finger is going.
right there.
Should be down there somewhere.
Piper's
Yeah, just
butt.
hit the button. Okay, here we go. Another question. I think we're going to this one.
That's a question for you.
Oh, okay.
So did you ever find out what was digging in House of Pie?
No, I have not figured it out yet, but it is making a massive hole in that corner. I think we got a couple problems. It's farm life, so it could be a rat, but rats usually don't move that much dirt. It
They
could
can.
be. It could be a. This is a lot of dirt. It
It's
could
a
be a
mole.
mole. The moles will move a lot more dirt, and right outside where the dirt is inside the barn, right outside is also mole evidence. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's a mole of some kind. We just haven't seen it or caught it or gotten rid of it.
Lynn goes, subscribe. She'll get Aaron drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next question.
Sure.
Going
Flying
super
through
fast.
these.
We're gonna be done in like 10 minutes.
Crazy Cats would like to know if Ace is the first of the only goats you've ever had that really loves the rain.
No, I've
Personally,
seen. I think I've seen Winnie out in the rain before. Maybe it was Winnie. No,
not a
maybe not.
princess.
No, maybe it's not her. I don't know.
No, I really haven't seen any of our goats like the rain.
Yeah.
And I have not personally seen. I've seen evidence that Ace has been out in the rain because his coat is wet.
Yeah.
But I haven't actually seen him stand there, so I don't know if he's like truly enjoying it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. There's certain goats who preferred like, hey, I like the snow, and they'll
Yeah.
just be out in the snow. They don't mind
Yeah.
getting their feet a little cold and wet, but most of the time, goats do not enjoy the rain.
Right. No. most
They're
of the
all
time
saying
they
that
do not.
Ace loves the rain.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to check on that the next time it's raining.
Yeah. Piper keeps jumping up and down. She's very she can't make up her mind.
Come here. Here you go.
Oh, she jumped up again. Yep. I was trying to get a good Piper cam shot and I missed her. All right, here's another one.
Okay. Since Nigerian goats have heat cycles year round, what will be the minis cycle? So
So explain high level for the people that don't understand.
high level, so full size dairy goats, the kind that we have except for the Nigerians, they are seasonal breeders, so they come into heat starting around now. Will be their first heat cycles, and then they should stop around December or January. But if it's a really mild winter like it has been, it's not unheard of for a goat to go into heat in February or March, which is wild. So the idea that we bred, also Nigerian goats, though, on the other hand, they'll heat their heat cycles all year round. So every 18 to 21 days for a Nigerian dwarf, they are going into heat. So the idea is, and the question is, what's going to happen to a goat like Deja, Vera, or Oakley, who are half mini and half full size? What are their heat cycles going to do?
So we asked the
And so I asked Dr. Kara in the spring, and she goes, good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
So she's like, time will tell. Because a lot of it, I guess, depends on how much they identify as mini. And it looks like Deja doesn't identify much at all as
Right.
mini because she's kind of big. Whereas Otis and Oakley, I don't think that they know that their mom was full size.
Right.
Because they're so small. So I don't know. Time will tell. They're definitely. We're not going to breed them in an off month. So like some Nigerian breeders will breed half of their herd, say in January, and the other half of their herd in June or whatever. And that way, 5 months later, they're having babies.
And they're having milk all year long.
Right.
Yeah.
That is not something I'm really looking into doing. Kidding season will always be March. And that's just going to be that.
Yeah. Back to another question. That was a good one, though. I remember when I saw that one come in, I was like, I don't know the answer to that one either. And I didn't even know you asked that already.
Yeah.
All right, here you go. Another one from Claudia. Hazel's friend.
Liz, are you going to continue the Tog breed at the farm now that most of the Togs are retired? The answer is no. And we decided that last summer after we lost Moose. We decided not to bring in a Tog boy to replace that bloodline. We knew, I thought I was going to have a couple more years with Grace and Evelyn, but I'm done putting up with their shenanigans. And then Dolce is just not, she does not conform to the true breed. And so there's no point in getting Dolce a boyfriend all to herself when we've kind of moved into that half mini breed. And I think unfortunately, that's just where the program is going. And several years prior to last summer when we lost Moose, we had questioned each season, are we done breeding Togs? Are Togs still going to be our thing? And every year it was like, yeah, sure, we'll do it another year. We've got these girls. And then it's kind of like our hand was forced into that decision when we lost Moose.
Right.
You can answer this one. How's Quinn handling his braces?
Quinn, you watching? How you doing?
He is.
I think he's what?
Has the door open.
Hello, he literally
is right there.
Come here. We didn't even.
Come here. This question's for you.
Did you know that?
No. Did you hear?
Did you hear
that
us?
That was
impeccable timing. How did you know we just asked your name?
Because I was listening.
So you were listening to us in real time, not through YouTube. Oh, right?
Yeah.
So you're just on the other side of the door, like
Mary. So Mary asked, "How is Quinn handling his braces?"
Good.
Good. As he flashes you a smile. Yeah. What color are your braces this month?
Red.
Red braces this month. And he's getting his bottom braces on.
I don't know what day.
Well, in a couple more weeks.
I do have to get 2 teeth pulled.
I thought it was, 2 teeth. I thought it was just 1 tooth.
Yeah, he might have to get a tooth pulled to put on the bottom braces.
We're gonna wait.
Yeah, so we're probably just gonna wait.
Teeth like that, especially teeth that don't absolutely need to be pulled.
But they're still babies.
They're baby teeth. That's fine.
They should fall out.
They're gonna fall out all on their own.
They don't have adult teeth.
Yes, they do. They have an adult tooth pushing it right up.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only teeth that you're gonna get removed are your wisdom teeth, which don't worry, it won't make you any less smart. They don't actually hold your wisdom.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah. You have your wisdom. Do not get held in your teeth.
And my tongue tie.
Oh, and he has a tongue tie.
Yep.
You have to get that looked at too.
So the little thing underneath your tongue that makes it so when you ride your bike real fast, your tongue doesn't flip over your head. That thing. His is a little too short, so it has to be fixed so his tongue can move farther, which then will allow better speech, basically.
I guess so.
Right, I guess so. Or it makes it so you can eat more mac and cheese. I don't know.
No,
you can stick your tongue out further.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
See, yours doesn't stick out at all.
Yeah. That's it. Good job.
That's it. Good job.
Are you done?
No. You want to go sit in the chair?
Yeah, you can go sit in the hot seat. Go for it.
Go ahead.
You got the camera on you. Go. Move on over. See you. Bye-bye.
Oh.
Okay.
Still here.
He's going backstage.
Come on. You can come up.
I
wallpaper's funny.
So that's it. That's Quinn's braces update from the man himself, who was spying around the corner with a cup up against the door, so he can listen. No, just your ear?
No, I was listening.
Just listening. That's funny. All right, where were we at?
He's like, speaking of, here I am.
You know what? I'm right here. There's another question.
All right. Yeah, okay. So, is there any possible way Greta could stay in Cassie's castle and be the house mom? Otis and Oakley have become so fond of her. Janice, you're killing me. So, couple things with that. That would be an issue, right? Cassie's castle is meant for moms and babies. After this year, Greta's retired. She's no longer a mom and she's no longer a baby.
This is very true.
And so it is in the natural progression that she go and live in House of Pie 2 with her mom and her two sisters. So if we don't move her and keep her in Cassie's castle for Otis and Oakley, we are denying her her retirement that she's earned with her mom and her two sisters. On top of that, she's now contributing to pooping.
Yeah, she poops
In the barn
and eats.
and well, I'm not worried about the eating because she's going to do the eating over there
get
too.
it.
But she's contributing to pooping in the fields and pooping in the barn. And the more poopers we have, the more contaminated the ground gets and the harder the land struggles to stay parasite free for the babies and the moms. And this is like if you want to talk about like
It's like in the hospital, the baby.
comorbidities, that's what the word I was looking for. I know it's a big one. So I learned it during COVID.
Okay.
Can't
Sure.
say it anymore.
Comobility.
Thank you. So these are things that put you at a higher risk of like getting sick, right? So
Yeah.
They were talking about like obesity and
Right.
diabetes
Yeah,
and
you
like
have a lot of
heart
them.
disease, and that all puts you at a higher risk for having complications during COVID, right?
Right. Got it.
Well, age in a herd, so being under a year old, but also like geriatric, so old, puts you at a higher risk of struggling with these parasites. So we don't want our old and our really young to be commingling, really,
Correct.
right?
If in the perfect world.
In the perfect world, there are exceptions. But in this case, if we make another exception, that is just another pooper.
Right.
That's going to be adding to issues potentially in Cassie's castle.
Which, if you noticed earlier, she told you where Vera is going. Right? Where's Vera going to go live?
in the Red Barn.
In the Red Barn. She's not going over to House of Pie 2 because we're trying not to put the babies we decided to keep this season that need a year to grow out before they can have babies. We can't go and mingle them with our oldest herd. That we have to break that up. We also can't go and mingle them with a bunch of neutered boys that are huge. So that basically makes it where House of Pie 1, I don't want to say this the wrong way, is kind of useless because we can't put baby girls in there and we can't put retirees in there.
Oh, I am.
Well, you will.
Grace and Evelyn. This is another question that's
Yeah, I
coming
just
later.
saw it earlier.
Grace and Evelyn are going to go. This was one of the
That's true.
saddest parts of losing Danica when we lost her was that she was only about a month away from having Grace and Evelyn back.
Right.
And Grace and Evelyn were about a month away from having their mom back. The whole plan that time was to put Grace and Evelyn in House of Pie 1. And I know that there was some questions about like, well, why don't you just keep it all boys and all girls?
Yeah.
Well,
You
the
can't.
issue with that is you're trying to even out the numbers in House of Pie.
Right.
You got 1 and 2. And 2, if you only put girls in this side and you only put boys in this side, and we don't keep very many boys, then House of Pie 1 is going to quickly become really low in numbers, and House of Pie 2 is going to get overrun.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I don't
you
want
do
to
have
put babies
you're right.
over there anymore. and I need to balance out the herds on either side of 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So the idea that Grace and Evelyn were going to go and be on House of Pie 1 was to help kind of even things out, and no more babies are moving over to House of Pie 2.
Right. Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah.
So yes, we answered a bunch of questions there.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
Oh, there's still some more.
That was the Greta could stay one. Yeah.
I know, and people are like, well, but I'll send rent money for her, and it's not really the point. I get it.
Point.
I get it. It's, some of it is joking, and I know y'all love Greta, and I know that Cassie's Castle, the streaming is more consistent there, and House of Pie has issues with internet.
Yeah, it's very hard to get internet like 700 feet away from your house.
Right. So it also comes down to, it's a little bit of a, okay, if I'm gonna lose one barn's privacy, I'm not gonna really want to lose the other barn's privacy. So that gives us a chance to enjoy our goats without being live all the time.
Right.
Which I'm not gonna go into.
It's a challenge. I'll go into it. It's a challenge when your kids want to talk to you and we're like, hang on, and you got to walk outside because you have the world listening. It's not as easy as some people might think, where you just hit a button, let a camera run live, and ching ching, you make all this money. No, you don't. It doesn't work that way. There's a lot of give and take. So there are and there will be days where we just decide to hit mute because we want to work in the barn in the morning and be able to talk about the same conversation we were just having in the kitchen, but it's not an appropriate conversation to be having live on YouTube. And we want to continue it because life happens. You have this conversation, your husband, wife, your business partner, We're like, oh shit, it's 10:30. Let's go do the barn. You go do the barns and you're quiet because that conversation's on your mind, but you can't have it right now. And then guess what happens? The whole day goes by and you're like, what were we talking about this morning? And you kind of forget. So there will be days, and we've talked about it, like, hey, hit the mute button because we got to keep talking about this, but we also have to milk goats. So to have both barns live 24/7 all the time with audio is a challenge. Now, with that said, knowing that there's a lot of popular goats moving to House of Pie, my goal from a technology standpoint is to get a camera outside, either House of Pie 1 or 2 or both, under their porches, so you can see better angles, like an under porch. We used to have an under the porch House of Pie 1 camera, but Thor chewed it, so we don't have that one anymore.
Living up to his name.
And that's a problem when they're chewing $200 cameras. That's an issue. We can't have that happen a lot. So
yeah,
we're looking at a way to put more, because outside cameras don't have audio, so it's easier for us to like continue a conversation while we're raking or something or whatever. You see us raking, I don't care. But yeah, there's a little balance there that we have to play of,
There's always been a balance. Like anytime you open up your world to a live camera like this, or even if it's recorded, you're still, that space ends up changing for you in an emotional way. So for me personally, right, Cassie's Castle was always a place of refuge and peace. And then we started going live, and I value giving back to people more than I value what I need. I'm working on it in therapy. It's fine. But my offset, right? Like the cost of doing business, right?
Yep.
Fine. Okay. So I can't have Cassie's Castle all to myself anymore. That's okay. That's a decision I made. But I can still have House of Pie all to myself. Selfishly.
Mostly, because it's not on all the time.
Mostly.
I pretty much give you guys House of Pie to sleep at night.
But
so you get both.
Right. So that gives us an opportunity during the day to be ridiculous with them. And, I mean, how many times do I yell out the window coming down the driveway to House of Pie?
Yeah. Billy sitting on his
Billy
couch
sitting
all
on
the
his
time.
couch and all that. So it's just one of those things, like, I'm willing to not have full privacy in this barn, as long as this barn is kind of still less viewed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, anyway. But I know people are going to miss Greta and Grace and all that stuff. And I'm hoping to find a way to put, this is just fun, if you guys remember Bubble Camera, to try to put a camera outside House of Pie 2, probably, outside House of Pie 2. That's lower of an angle. That's at like goat level, not up top. Even though you get a better view from up top because you see more, but to really have it at that level like that, you know, you're gonna see Piper and on Piper Cam and everything, you know, it'll be fun, but I gotta find a way to make it so they don't chew it. So that's a challenge. So
Yeah.
but that'll be a cute camera when they get up close to it. You guys will love it. And then it'll become like, guys, go to House of Pie 2's outdoor camera at 4:47:33, and you'll see, you know, Greta lick the camera. You know, you guys have fun with that kind of stuff. So, but for the rest of the 24 hours, that camera didn't do anything. You know, so
Yeah.
it's just stuff we're playing with. As we know, popular goats are moving out that way.
Well, I don't really think it comes down to popularity. I think it just comes down to,
Well,
you know,
Yeah.
it does, to me personally, it
it's not
doesn't
a
matter.
popularity thing.
The adjustment isn't because so and so is being retired and everybody loves so and so, because there are plenty of other people who love Lucy and Charlotte. And
Right.
like,
Correct.
those goats are their favorites, you know.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh well, because Greta is
It's
retired, we're gonna make these changes.
It's more
not
like
that.
what we're noticing, and you guys can put it in chat. We'll have a real community conversation here. How long have you been watching the live cam for? Put it in years or months, whichever way you want to do it. The community is aging with the goats.
You're calling them old?
No. What I'm saying is their core. I started watching here. My first goat I ever met was Greta. Well, Greta's still in Cassie's Castle. So now your first goat's going to leave. Or my first goat I ever met was Fat Amy. Well, she's been over there for 2 years now, you know, and you didn't really have a way to follow. You see what I mean? So that's what we're seeing. And yeah, of course they love the new ones, the Veras, the Otis, the Oakleys, all that. But they're OG goats. Like they get 24 hours a day of Vera and Otis and Oakley and whatever.
Yeah.
But they get like overnight and that's it of the other ones. And it's just hard to give everybody everything they want. That's a challenge. So yeah, so you could see that. Like that's, you know, and for the people, and I haven't even seen one yet, which is rare, which is weird and something we're doing maybe wrong, is nobody saying I've only been here a year. I've only been 7 months. Perfect. So that person might be like, well, my favorite goat is, you know,
is Oakley
or whatever.
Somebody who's just
born
like, this year.
I don't understand what you guys are all worried about. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So you'll see that. It's a different class. It's like a graduating class kind of thing.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough, you know, I personally balance what I know the community needs over what I need. And this is like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's wrong. I get it. I need to do better on that. And like, to me, it seems selfish to go and take what I need over somebody else's needs. But
yeah,
I don't know. So I am not okay with like just taking the cams down. That to me is like taking someone's life raft away while they're drowning. And not to say that y'all are drowning, but we don't know who's on the cam at that very moment who needs it the most, like more than I need privacy. Like I'll go get privacy somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like I know there's certain blackout corners in the barn. I'll just go sit in that corner.
It's also one of the reasons you guys don't really ever see. There has to be this borderline of what goes on camera, what doesn't, what's 24 hours a day, what isn't, blah, blah, blah. It's very rare you see Liz making soap in the soap room. That is like her space. That's her space. That's her art studio. That's her business. That's her whatever. By design, you see me every day out in the field, blah, 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 talking for 10 minutes. You don't see the soap room that often.
Yeah.
Because we need that, like, okay, what are you going to see? What are you not going to see? I mean,
I also need the mental clarity when I'm in that space.
Right.
I don't want to worry if, like, that goes back to, there's a different level of thinking when you know that there's a camera recording
100%.
you. And I just need to, like, I need to focus on just this. Because it's a lot of math, it's a lot of science, it's a lot of creativity. And I don't want to worry about like, oh, I missed an ingredient because I was worried about my camera angle.
Right.
So it's just not.
We tried that before. You guys can go back. We tried recording some soap making way back in the
here
day.
and there, yeah.
Yep. They were hard
Some
to
here and
edit.
there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, where's Harper? Harper's in House of Pie 2. I mix up Harper and Lucy on the camera when I watch. I sometimes can't tell from that up in the corner angle.
Yeah.
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 Do
Do you have any more write-in
Go ahead and answer that one while I check.
Well, I'm going to do the writing.
Okay, well, hang on.
That's, staying on.
Did you already answer this one? No.
Are the babies in Deja Vu? Yeah, we
actually you
indirectly we did answer that question. To reiterate, the question is will Deja Vu and the other babies be moving into House of Pie 2 or the Red Barn? And we decided to keep babies, no more babies. At least this is the plan. No more babies will be moving into House of Pie 2. The plan is to keep everybody over in the Red Barn area, whether that's going to be in the Red Barn where Mufasa is currently right now, or in the Moo Crew wing next to the Red Barn. I don't want to put babies in the Moo Crew wing. I would rather move the Three Musketeers over there and then be able to close up the babies at night.
Now let's play it out. You would do somebody like Deja Vu and Otis and Oakley and Vera go in the Red Barn during kidding season 2024.
Winnie and Winston as well.
And Winnie and Winston during kidding season 2024. And then after all the kids are born and after all the moms have their time and snuggle season starts, they'll all come back. They'll all come back to Cassie's Castle. The whole herd will come back together. They'll all live together until about the end of August, September, when it comes to breeding time, because you'll have at least 1 or 2 babies that she decides to keep. Who knows? And now Vera, Otis, Oakley, all them are 2 years old. They can go to House of Pie because they have a little age immunity at that point.
Well, what's the
It's
point?
the
Because they're all
first
going to come back.
Oh, that's true. Maybe they won't come back.
They're going to spend the first 18 months separate.
Yeah.
And
you're right. They'll come back
the
to
second
breed.
summer, you would never, like this time.
Basically, you don't go to House of Pie 2 until you've been a mom. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, you've been retired.
Now you've retired or you've been a mom and we need you to go over there because there's just too many goats in Cassie's Castle. You go over there until we figure out who's getting bred, that type of thing.
Right.
So they kind of can go to House of Pie 2 at like age 3-ish if you're not being bred, and then we play the shuffle type thing. Because eventually the Red Barn won't be able to handle.
Yeah.
You know.
You are just confusing people a little bit.
Okay, sorry. Never mind.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's because you call how do you say it?
What?
You were calling Finny. You're calling her Finny.
Oh.
And Fergie. It's Finley.
And Fergie. Finley.
Yeah.
Don't want to talk to me about names. I don't remember them, and I don't even try to. So, yeah. Thanks, Quinn.
Same.
High five. Air high five. Who?
Same.
Yes, same. Not above my pay grade. Yep. Only have so much room in this noggin, and it's not much. You know.
Oh, that was a dig.
Yeah. Yeah. To myself. Okay. Here we go. Another question. I think. There. So.
This is one of those questions that we've answered so many times.
It's gut feeling, basically.
No.
Sort of. And a lot of.
It comes down to like conformationally.
Wow.
Conformationally.
Where's she going?
Is it? Is that goat a goat that I want to continue the bloodline? Like sometimes it comes down to who's your mom and who's your dad, and do I want to keep that milking line in the herd? And then, but it also you also have to factor into, because we don't breed just to breed. As much as it looks like we just like shoot from the hip and we're not very organized, we do like to breed with purpose, and the purpose is to better the individual breed. So I'm not going to breed like Vixen, for example. She was looking great. She fit the mold as far as like what we were looking for in the future of our La Mancha program. And then as she aged, her back feet went all wonky. And we were like, nope, don't want that in my herd. because, you know, you've got this 150-pound goat who's standing on back legs that are now, instead of standing on top of your feet, imagine just walking on your ankles all day, like on your heels, I mean.
Yeah, with
And
no
that
toes.
would, yeah. And so I'm
That's
not going
not
to
good.
add a pregnant belly to that. And I definitely, that's a quality that will translate into the next generation. And I don't want that. So I don't breed that. So we only take the best of our best and we say, this is who we're keeping. And as they age, that decision might change and we might never actually breed them, like Vixen.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, Susie was right too. You keep some due to health too. So yeah, there are some times that, like for Roman, for example, we kept him because he was born with a heart defect and I didn't want to pass that on to somebody else and create heartbreak for them. He has since
He aged out of
that.
it. Yeah, he grew
He
right out of
outgrew
it.
that, but yeah, it was, yeah. So sometimes we'll keep them from health.
Or our kids fall in love with them, and then like we have to build a whole barn. That's what it's called, House of Pie.
Pie.
And you guys here on the chat don't like support that. That's not a good idea. You're like, oh sure, that's a great idea. Let's keep more goats.
I was just reading a comment. Yeah.
Which comment do I have to put on the screen?
No. It was just something like, I remember Liz's face when she saw Deja. It was apparent that that little girl was Liz's baby.
Oh yeah.
It was Deja and Oakley this year were super strong. Like these babies
Yeah. Oh, I knew
are like
the situation too behind it, but I knew they weren't going.
Well,
Vera, I didn't call the Vera one right away, but I was like, oh, I could almost see that happening. Yeah. Vera staying. There was a coloration there.
It was
there
a
was
strong
it's a mini Charlotte when Charlotte's not here. You know, you got to understand it's 10, 11 years, and then they're all going to be, you know,
cycling
through. So
yeah, we had a conversation a while back where, as breeders, you have to remember, like, so example number one, you. Her last litter of puppies, we could have easily sold all 6 of them. Well, 4 of them because we lost 2 of them. We could have easily sold all 4 of them and been like, oh, we'll just wait until the next litter and we'll keep something out of. You see yourself on the camera, don't you?
She is. She's totally staring at herself.
Who's that, Piper? Who is that? It's you. Aren't you beautiful? That is one good-looking mama up there, huh?
She's totally staring at herself.
So we can't ever go back and, like, once you have kind of, I don't want to say like your dream goat or your dream puppy or whatever, you can't always assume that there's going to be a next litter or a next kidding season for that breed. You know, we could have said something about, bless you.
Whoa,
we could have said something about Otis and Oakley this year and been like, oh, we'll wait until the next one because I want such and such. And there is no next time. You know, we ended up losing Bonnie. We could have passed over Chai and said, no, let's wait until the next litter. And then the next litter, you know, Piper gets Pio, and now we can't breed her anymore. Come on.
Coming back?
So it's kind of like that feeling of, if there's not a next time, I would be super disappointed to not have this girl or this boy in my herd or in my program. So that's kind of the long-winded way of explaining why we keep who we keep and how all of that.
All right, so for some of you new people, I forgot we had these.
Some people just got memberships.
I'm going to put a thank you very much up here because Mel just gave out some memberships. Ready, Quinn? You ready for this?
Thank you very much.
Oh, no, that's just not fair.
We didn't get to hear it, but did you see how little he was?
I was.
Very much.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't
That's
have the
not
audio.
fair.
We don't have the audio on.
That's not fair at all.
Yeah.
How do you guys grow so much?
And then the little
I
Bill.
grew 5 inches in 1 year.
He did. 5 inches in 1 year. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Craziness.
This TV's way behind
All that go.
on time.
Yeah, that TV.
All right, so just so you know, all the questions in that I preloaded in have been asked. So you got to go to your phone now for email questions. Those are the ones that IKEA got in the way and we didn't get to. And then we will go to chat. So for all of you that like dropped messages in chat, you'll probably have to drop them again in a little bit. And are we at 1 hour of live yet? No. 3 more minutes till the first giveaway. I feel like Bob Barker. Come on down. Who's the next contestant on The Price is
Oh,
Right?
he was so tiny.
Did you not know that that's what we were talking about?
How
No,
tiny
I-
you were?
Oh, you saw it again.
Yeah.
Just saw it.
I couldn't see over there.
Mhm.
So in the middle of all of our madness for
Yeah.
those 2 weeks that the shit was hitting the proverbial fan, y'all stepped up and helped support us and let us know that you were thinking of us in all different kinds of ways, whether it was a private email that you sent us, whether it was a private message on Facebook or Instagram, whether it was sending a card or sending flowers or sending any kind of like memento that was. We saw a couple donations come in, just like, hey, I'm thinking of you, and like, please treat yourself during this time. These were all gestures that we really felt and that really went a long way. And we didn't say anything during the moment because we were still trying to like collect our thoughts and collect like what was happening in real time. But I did want to thank everybody who took a couple minutes out of their day to support us and to let us know that you were thinking of us, and that, that really went a long way. So with that, sometimes things don't come to the farm with names on them.
Yes, this is true.
Like, we have no idea who sent this or that or whatever.
Perfect example. We still have something here. We haven't figured out who or where it came from. So we can't even talk about it. We're not going to talk about it.
So there was an entire rose bush sent here last week. And I was like, who sent a rose bush? 'Cause, I mean, it's fairly well known that roses are one of my favorite flowers, if not the favorite flower. And so I was like, somebody who knows, like, sent this, and I have no way of saying anything. So I got an email saying that the rose bush was from this person, and it was in honor of Danica, Grace, and Piper's puppies. So we will be planting that in their memory, and I'm very thankful for the.
Now, where we're planting it, we don't know yet.
Gesture.
Right, you don't know yet where it's going.
No clue.
No clue where it's going.
But I will find a spot, as I always do.
And ultimately, our plan. Let me just share a little bit. You can smack me if I'm going too far.
Oh, I will.
I know she will. I might like it too. So at the shipping container, we have built this 40-foot by 9-foot high shipping container. We have built a lattice that goes the whole 40 feet and wraps around the backside 8 feet. You have what kind of plants that we're planting there?
Wisteria, not listeria. Totally different things.
Yeah. Yeah. So that, and what else? It's the little short ones. You have the 3 big tall ones.
They're all wisteria.
They're all just different sizes.
They're just different varieties.
Oh, different varieties.
They bloom differently. So
There
we
you
get wisteria all like spring and summer long.
Got it. So the goal is to get that to really engulf the whole shipping container. And then we have what plants came from Long Island. This is where I need your help.
The irises.
There you go. I'm not a flower person. The irises, we're going to have to relocate some of those. And then we're going to put a bench right in the middle of all that crazy flowerness. And when you're here at Goat Snuggles, that is where you can sit and like hang out. And that's kind of the whole circle of life. You have the Cassie's Castle, you're petting the baby goats. You can go over and see House of Pie and talk to the retirees. And then you can come sit on the little bench with all these flowers. It's kind of like where you guys park, sort of. And you can be like, that's Moo's flower. That's Danica's flower. That's, and they're kind of all there. At some point, we won't have enough room for all the flowers. So we'll just think of other things to do. But that's kind of the point of the whole like setup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to take a minute and so I like to turn something that's really sad and heavy into something that's beautiful. And so that's kind of why we plant flowers for every time one of the goats passes. And in a cluster like this, like when we have, Bonnie and Sadie passed away within weeks
within
of each
weeks.
other.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with Moose and
Yeah.
I don't know, it was Giovanni. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so they just get kind of a group plant. But it's just it's nice to walk around and look at the beauty that are in these flowers, and it helps like bring a little bit of like smiles to a really crappy situation.
Right. Yeah.
So
Okay.
so we have an email here from Nancy. She asks, how are Dee, Amy, Lucy, and Charlotte doing? I love the older girls. So I would say they're all doing really well. I mean,
Amy's
Lucy,
doing better.
Yeah. Amy's doing better. Lucy's doing okay. We're struggling with age here.
That's it. It's an age thing.
Oh, that's it. I was gonna go into details.
Oh, go ahead.
We're struggling with age, and with age comes like the more times these goats struggle with parasites and we have to treat them, the higher probability that the parasites become resistant to the medication that we have on hand to treat them. There are only so many dewormers on the market for goats. Many of them are off-label, meaning they're not even meant for goats. And our vet is, telling us the dosage based off of what has worked in the past for her. And we already know that Lucy is resistant to an entire class of dewormer. So we can't even use that one. There are only, 3 or 4 classes of dewormer?
Yeah, I think there's 4.
And so...
And one you can't even get here in the country.
Right. So here in this country, we can't even get the 4th one. And she's resistant to one of them. So that leaves us with 2. There's going to be a time that Lucy's going to struggle with these worms and we're not going to be able to treat them with something that works. So we're in an uphill battle with the worms, and we're just spoiling her until we're not allowed to spoil her anymore.
Right. Yep. And she's learned how to get spoiled. You guys see it almost on every video.
She's
did it again today. All right, before we get into another question, we are giving away a free soap.
Yay!
And we're gonna call it #Quinn. So put in chat #Quinn if you want to win a charcoal obsession artisan soap. Yeah, simple. Not simple suds, but that's it. Charcoal obsession artisan soap. Free #Quinn.
With uppercase at the Q.
I don't know if that matters.
I don't think if it matters. Oh, look at everybody who's like,
oh
win,
my!
win.
So now we are gonna go.
I bet you've never seen your name so much.
I haven't seen my name like
look at it.
So.
All right, there you go. It's showing us how many entries have been collected for #Quinn. We're going to give it another minute. Why don't you answer a question while we watch the #Quinn number compiling in? If you got another question. I know one person that sent in.
Are you thinking of making a geriatric section for the older girls in House of Pie like you mentioned in one of your videos?
So we do that when needed. That is like last resort because now they're alone and we're not going to take Amy and Lucy and put them in another section because now they won't have access to outside and then water and then it comes logistically very complicated. So no, I don't think that's happening.
It's more of like what we call a hospice.
It's hospice.
And that is just what it sounds like. It's a very, end of life, temporary. They're not meant to be in there for, months and months and months at a time. It is because they can know, and it's by a case situation, right? So we knew it was Sadie's time to go in. with how the herd was treating her and how they were pushing her away from food, and she was getting weaker. And she spent maybe a month.
Yeah, I think less
at
than a
the
month.
most.
They might even know. Less than a month Sadie spent in that little pen all by herself and got to go outside in the little grass field.
And
but
at that point, she didn't even care.
she didn't care.
Like, she did not care that she was by herself. She appreciated the quiet. She appreciated the no arguments for food and water. And she liked to have the outside time in the mornings and the afternoons to graze in that area where, you know, she could still see everybody and she still interacted with them, but it was just slower paced for her.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So,
but then, just so you're all aware, Danica spent about 2 hours.
yeah.
She got the chance. We moved her. She got the chance to get her own stall. We moved all the hay. Tyler and Quinn were involved.
I was here for the whole entire thing.
He was there for the whole thing. We got the gate set up. We got her own pen set up. We got everything. And unfortunately, there was nothing we could do. It was time to make the call. And then the emergency vet showed up at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And
we'll go into more detail about exactly what happened with Danica, because we never really said anything like, well, what ultimately happened. We just announced that she was gone. So we'll go into that.
Yeah. So you want to give away the
soap?
So
yeah, let's give away the soap.
Wait, before you do, how many people was voted?
Right there, 173, 77.
77.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting it to 200. No. So we're just going to run it. 178. What number do you want to wait for? 170, 180?
I think
185?
If it
We need like 5 more people to put hashtag Quinn.
I think this is enough.
I think this is enough.
There's a lot of people.
You want to hit the button? Hit the button.
All right, go ahead.
Hit the button right there. Click. There it goes.
Oh, it's going. Look at all those names.
It's going.
Who's gonna get it?
It's going.
Who's gonna get it?
Winner!
Sage Sheringan
739. That
person.
Yeah.
All right. So,
so you got to shoot us an email. Let me go back to here and unshare that. Come back up here. Let me go back to banners. See if I can find it. Where's our email?
Well, it's simonssaysfarms@gmail.com.
Right there.
That one.
Shoot us an email to that one that you are the winner. Try to screenshot, rewind a little bit, screenshot that. They got to prove that's that person somehow. Just shoot us an email. We'll figure it out.
We have a very honest village.
We're only shipping out one, so it doesn't matter. Yep. So send us that email. Let us know you want it.
Congratulations.
Yeah. See?
That's because it's an awesome community.
Everybody's happy.
Yep. Even this one.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, we'll give away the other one a little later. Yeah. Okay.
Well, now TV's way behind.
Yeah, it's super far behind. Yep. So I don't need that anymore. We are up here. You got more questions in your email? I know that one person sent in 6.
That one person
sent in 6
rhymes
questions.
with Mickey.
Yeah. Mouse. No. I knew what you meant. By the way, side note. This is a spicy margarita with jalapenos.
You want yours?
And I think I put jalapeno up my nose. The left nostril, and this is a big nose. The left nostril is burning right now. Just saying. I don't know how it happened.
Hold on. You didn't even cut the jalapenos. I did.
I might have might have touched the edge, because there's a little, I don't know. I have no idea why the left side is burning.
So why you sneezed earlier?
Go to bed.
I haven't.
And I'm like, my nose is on fire.
Yeah. All right.
Like the left nostril is like a little in than the right one.
It is.
I think.
Okay.
Okay. So these 6 questions we've gone over.
6 questions from Mickey.
From Mickey. We've the first one we answered. Will the minis move to the Red Barn and the boys move to the Moo Crew Pen?
We talked about
So yes. When will the minis move? Breeding season or wait until kidding season? So it's going to be kidding season. Where will the wins move for breeding season if all the pens and the Red Barn are occupied? We said that the Wynn twins are going to be moving in with the red barn into the red barn with the minis.
Yep.
Is there a reason that you wouldn't want House of Pie 1 to be all boys and House of Pie to be all girls?
Just
I was thinking you might move D over to House of Pie 2 when the move happens and separate the herds by gender. So we answered that one. Will Chanel breed with Yoshi or Mufasa this year, assuming she passes the health check? I will keep her with Mufasa.
Chanel will stay with Mufasa. Got it. Okay.
And are you thinking of making a geriatric section? Well, we already did that one.
We already talked about that.
Delete.
I gotta save that.
Got it.
Delete. She's just delete. Yeah. Let's put that up here. By the way, this is not for sale, so you all know. That was last Christmas, not for sale. Oh, I love how it does that. It focuses
it wasn't
on
last Christmas.
No, it was 2 Christmases ago.
2 Christmases ago.
Yeah,
I
she's
thought
got
that was
some
last
cool
Christmas.
Christmas ideas though coming. But don't wait for Christmas. Buy in September.
September's collection is going to be pretty cool.
Yep.
Okay. So Mary Elizabeth asked, how hard is it to make soaps in the molds other than the normal square type shape?
Quite difficult.
So soap in general is difficult. If you use a mold, right? Most of your molds are not typically like if you're dealing with a mold that has really, really high level of detail. That mold is meant for resin. That mold is meant for ice. That mold is meant for candles. It's not meant for soap. Soap needs 6 to 8 weeks to cure to get rid of all of the extra moisture that you have during the soap making process. And it turns it into a much harder bar. So if you're using a mold, for example, then getting the soap out of the mold while maintaining the shape that you intended without thumbprint marks or some soft indentation from trying to push it out of said mold, that's difficult. And there's techniques for that, but sometimes, like I tested a mold one time, it was a flower mold, and I was like, I love it, I love it, I love it. And then I made soap in it, and I was like, I hate it.
Yeah,
and I never used it because it was a disaster coming out, and I lost all the petals. Like I only got, if the soap was like this big, and there were petals, I lost like the outside third.
Oh my.
And they just broke off because the soap was so
Thin.
well, yeah, it was so soft that it just broke off.
Now, what happens
So-
if you wait that 3 to 6
Good
weeks?
question. Could you leave the soap in the mold for 3 to 6 weeks? If you had enough money to buy a lot of molds, you technically could. But now every bar of soap you make, that was your
Is
music,
it time
huh?
to feed the dog?
Yeah. Yeah, it's feed the dog time. You could leave it in the mold longer, but it's also going to could make it harder to get out of the mold because now it hardened in the cavity and you can't get it to pop out. And you're taking up all your molds. And now if you're planning to make 500 bars of soap, you're going to go buy 500 molds at like $10 a mold. You can't. You'll never make your money back.
No.
You have to be able to reuse that mold. So that's why it doesn't work that way. You have to use the mold, put the soap in, get it out in a reasonable amount of time, wash the mold, dry the mold, because you can't, like, there's so much involved.
And then another
And
batch.
then another batch, and reuse it again. So you can take that $10 mold and lower the cost so it doesn't cost so much. Yeah. It's a challenge.
It's difficult. And not all molds. You
Yeah.
can't really use all molds with soap.
With
Just
soap.
mark.
Yep. All right, where are we at?
Oh, hold on.
We got 45 minutes till barn time.
Slowly.
But for some reason, I'm hungry, even though I ate a whole bunch of IKEA meatballs.
So Sylvie asked, well, she noticed that only certain goats get a fluffy coat. Is it related to the breed? And do they shed?
Okay.
So the fluffy coats is really dependent on the girl. So some goats
Amy, fluffy coat all the time.
all the time.
All the time. Winter, summer, doesn't matter.
Right. But then there's like some Lamanches are fluffier than others, so it's just a bloodline thing.
Yeah.
And they absolutely do shed, and some of them look completely ridiculous when they do it. Like Asher, this past spring, he decided to blow his entire coat in about a week, and so
Oh
he was
my.
naked and got sunburned
Oh.
Yes.
because he was
That could
naked.
happen.
That happened to Dee. No, not Dee. Evelyn this year as well. She started losing her hair like she had alopecia.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening.
Oh.
But she was fine.
Yep.
Hot topic.
Uh-oh.
Binks.
Oh, yes. I saw somebody asked here.
Yep. So Crazy Cats would like to know how Binks is adapting. Is he a full house cat yet? And how is he with the dogs?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, let Mom discuss.
yeah.
Let Mom talk about Binks. Go ahead. What were you
Okay.
going to say? Just say it.
Go ahead.
It's probably going to be okay.
No.
I'll bleep it if it's
He
wrong.
doesn't want to. He doesn't
Okay,
want
whisper in Mom's ear.
No.
to.
Okay,
He
go
doesn't
ahead.
want
You
to.
first.
So Binks, I have a feeling, and this is my own personal feeling, he's going to remain a bedroom cat because he's doing so well in the bedroom. He is not going to warm up with the dogs. Like, it's just not going to happen. The dogs are not respectful of him. You know, I worry about his safety. And he's just so happy in the bedroom that, like, why change it? It's his space. He loves it. Stop. Get another drink.
No.
You're fine.
Nope.
You can do it.
Nope.
Who's that?
It's another child.
It's
No.
Tai
Another child.
It's Tai.
Tai.
Yeah.
Tai.
Tai. Wait a second. I got a picture of Tai here somewhere.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You never know what picture I'll pull up. You can sit back there backstage. Nope. Move Quinn's
No,
phone.
You can sit right
Move
there.
Quinn's
there.
phone.
Are you
Move
eating
no.
more cheese?
More cheese.
Oh, he's eating goat cheese. The one we made in the video the
Oh,
other
you
day.
can
Tyler.
sit
Move
there.
Quinn's phone.
Sit right there.
I can't sit that
There's
high.
Tai.
That's high.
Sit right
What, are you afraid of heights?
Yeah.
Whatever. Sit wherever you want.
So yeah, Binks is doing great. Binks is
Yeah,
spoiled.
that's the problem.
Binks is spoiled. What's wrong with that? I don't see a problem.
Oh, there's a problem. But it's okay.
Stop it.
You don't have to.
I don't have a picture of Binks. I was looking for a
Oh,
Binks
Binks.
picture.
And a Titan?
Oh, that's Piper.
That's a Pipper.
Oh, with her foot
Yeah,
problem.
remember she cut her foot.
She cut her
Oh,
foot.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't have
Yeah.
Bink's picture.
How bad is the delay on that? There we
It's
go. I
pretty
just
bad.
logged in.
That's real.
pretty bad.
It got behind. Yeah. All right, what's your next question?
About Binks again.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's just like, has he met any others outside the bedroom?
Not really.
Not on purpose. That couple times he's met
Yeah.
Stella.
He met Hazel once. That didn't go well. Yeah.
Hazel was just fine. They met.
Hazel
Hazel
was
was
fine.
scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he just doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh
no.
my goodness, that's a good picture.
Yeah. Oh, your picture? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. See Tyler in the house backstage.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, Connie has some questions. I'm not sure if we've gone through. all of
Okay,
them
go
yet.
for it. Connie's question.
Are some goat breeds considered more vocal than others, or is it just certain goats that decide to speak up?
Nubians, the ones with the very long ears,
Mhm.
like in Taylor Swift's video, all the time.
Yeah.
That was a meme. I think, or
Nubians
something.
are definitely a very vocal breed. Nigerian
Yeah.
dwarfs are a very vocal breed.
Yeah.
So La Manchas aren't supposed to, but we've got a certain family line.
Jenny.
Yeah.
Or no.
No, it's
Greta.
Greta
That is very.
and Ari, and that can
Ari,
definitely be
God.
related to
Yeah.
just bloodline and personality traits. You're making him uncomfortable.
Well, because I
Oh,
just
my
gave
little-
him a Tyler cam,
No,
I
we're
gave
having
him
Tyler.
a Tyler Quinn
Tyler
cam.
and Pipey time.
Yeah.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily definitely more breeds are more vocal than others, and then there are just personality traits that make them a little more vocal than others. That one.
Oh, well, wait here. I gotta redo.
My wife. Yeah, you're such a good girl.
Yes, no, maybe.
You can talk about it if you want somehow. I don't think. Just say it. Go for it.
You're
Whatever you
a
want to say.
bastard
Can I read
tonight.
it?
It's not about. Okay, so the question is very simple. House of Pie 2, is it going to get a playground? The answer is probably not, because the babies need a playground first. The whole baby area outside Cassie's Castle has to get redone. All the logs have to come out, which eventually Tyler can start working on. But all the logs have to come out because they're falling apart. The pirate
Yeah.
ship's
Oh,
got to
yeah.
go. It's falling apart. And we're going to rebuild a whole new kidding, goat snuggling playground area. That's going to take up a lot of time, a lot of resources, and everything like that.
And money.
Now, yes, and that's called resources without kidding. So then when you get over to the House of Pie 1 has plenty of stuff. They have a scratching pad, they have a couch, they have a coffee table, they have a love seat, they have it all. They're good. House of Pie 2 has a lot of stuff too. They actually have natural things. They have a pile of rocks. They actually have like this little stream, sort of. Like there's this little area that like fills in with water and then floats out into the
Yeah.
pond.
They have every paddock has a green scratching post
They
that
have-
you see.
they have
Like the same kind that's in Cassie's
Right.
Castle.
They have a green scratching post, but you got to remember most of House of Pie 2 is old. So we don't want them. They have the platform inside. We really don't want them to have a crazy playground or something to climb on because we don't see them as often. They're out there. They're not as close to the house. So we want to keep them safe. We want to keep
We don't see them. I see them
well,
all
we
the
see
time.
them all the time, but
Think about it. What
The
don't you
village-
do as you get older? You don't jump off of things anymore.
right, and their
You don't
legs
want to break
make,
a hip.
right, they make noise.
You know,
They crickle and crackle when they walk.
they
in.
crack when they
Amy,
walk.
Amy cracks when she walks.
Yeah.
So no, more than likely, House of Pie 2 is not getting a playground.
Well, because they don't need one.
They don't need it. Right.
Again, with our practices changing from babies don't go over there anymore. These are all going to be elderly girls and boys. The boys are getting older. But no, they don't.
Plus, they play with each other. They
the,
run
i-
around.
the idea that this misconception of these goats don't have enrichment, they're bored, they're the forgotten goats. First of all, this is offensive. Like, none of our animals on our property have been forgotten. We practice a very different style of farming than like 90% of other people. When a goat gets old and they're no longer useful to a farmer, they generally get shipped off to either a different home or they've got sent to the auction where their fate is going to be unknown. It could end up in the freezer for all they know. And they don't care. Like these owners, the goats are costing them money. They're no longer making them money, and out they go. That is not what we do here. And so to be accused of like just forgetting about them and like just putting them out there and being like, good luck, we don't care about you, it's actually pretty hurtful. But the source is incredible, and I have to remember that not everybody is going to support us. And that's okay, because like I'm not for everybody.
Right.
You're not for everybody. You can't please
No.
everybody. But the ignorance that comes out of some people's mouths, that's appalling and shameful that we would be accused of that when like our whole lives go into these goats. So I'm gonna stop before I get emotional.
Yeah. So the just to piggyback on, we do things a lot differently. I'm trying to think of the right word without saying the wrong word because it could be we cremate our goats as they pass away. We've started this practice. Danica, I now know the people that run the cremation place, like, and they even like question because it's not cheap. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, we'll probably have one or two more by the end of the year. Maybe next year, we don't know, but our herd is aging, and like I just need you guys to be prepared that like, and they're not used to doing goats, they do cats and dogs. And they're like, really? And the bigger they weigh, the more it costs. And we're like, it's fine. It's what these goats need. If my wife decides they live on this farm, they live on this farm forever. Even after they're gone, they stay here. and I don't have enough room to break out the backhoe every single time to start digging holes. So we have moved to cremation. We now have a wall. It's in the house, in the dining room, where we have all the little boxes, and it's actually quite nice to like see it. And it's like,
Well, because
they're
not only
still
do
here.
we have their boxes, we have a photo of them on each box, and we actually have their hoof print in a clay thing that is offered by. Initially, we it was offered when we lost Gianna. That
Yeah.
was, I think,
yeah, we let them do it
Gianna
for both
was
Gianna
the
and
first one that we did cremation on.
no. But yeah, possibly. I'd have to
I
go
think-
downstairs and
I
look
think
at the
so.
wall.
And yeah, and so they did the full package. We did everything through them because we didn't know what we were doing. But now we have our own kits at home. So
Yeah.
we do the hoof print at home. We have the urn at home that, just extra urns.
Yeah.
And then we have a whole process of how we get, them to the crematorium.
Yep.
And then back home.
But even they are like,
And then
really? We've
everybody
never
is
done this.
Everybody is
Yeah.
displayed, and everybody, you can just spend some time. And the idea is, I want to build, I think the video was just the greenhouse that you showed yesterday.
Oh, I showed the big fancy greenhouse. I
Yeah.
did not show the.
So the idea is that I really would love to have this studio and our computer office in an actual office and out of our house, so that when it is time to work, we're not interrupted by, no offense, by kids or dogs or UPS or anybody who's coming to the house and coming and going. You can kind of lock yourself into that space and really get into the zone with having a detached home office.
They became very popular during COVID. They were like buying a shed that's like 12 feet by 24 feet, but actually insulating it, putting in electrical, putting in walls, and turning it into a tiny little home office that
Yeah.
sits outside your house.
But I want to have like
But-
a whole wall of shelving that you can just kind of place little mementos that even you guys send that have meaning of a specific time, from a loss, or even just like a celebratory thing. You guys send so many things, like this Moo-Proof thing.
Oh, we have piles of stuff. We have
Behind
stuff
us
over
and-
there. We never found room to hang
and
up.
it's just it would be really nice to have a whole shelf, like a memory wall,
Yeah.
of everybody's urns and pictures and hoof prints and all of that. So that'd be great.
So we do things a little differently. It's really what that whole story was all
Well,
about.
and a lot of times I have to wonder, like, the motive for asking that kind of question is maybe to stir the pot a little bit.
Some people, we had a couple stir the pot questions that we
sometimes-
left out.
And sometimes it's just ignorance. And I don't want to say that in like a negative way, but some people just literally don't know any better.
Oh, that
And they
came up.
don't know us enough to not assume that, oh, well, other people do it this way, you must do it that way too.
No. Oh, I had an ignorance comment. You didn't watch today's video yet? This was a
No.
good one. For those of you that don't raise your own meat, this one's kind of
I
interesting.
watched it.
You watched it?
I watched it.
That
almost
somebody
every day.
asked Tim, the
Oh.
pig farmer, how do I get the bacon off the pig so they can grow more bacon?
Oh,
Yeah.
I saw that. He told me that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they were like,
We were
what?
all-
Like they're
It's like
starfish.
this is not a sheep. You don't shave it. Take the fur and it grows more. You can't just take the
She
bacon
was
and it
dead
grows more
serious.
bacon. Like, so we get a lot of weird, interesting, sometimes comical
Yeah.
questions. Yeah. So that one was
You
like-
just have to be
Yeah.
patient with people sometimes because they just don't know.
they just don't know. Yeah. Buy the chicken
Um,
at the store where no chicken got hurt.
Elizabeth O asked, How are Hazel and Stella doing?
Stella's fine. She's right. Now you're not going to be able to spin it.
Oh,
It's very hard to spin.
Yeah.
No, leave it.
So
As,
Stella has
leave it as
recovered.
the Tyler cam.
Stella has recovered great.
She's right here,
her-
passed out on the floor
Yep.
down here.
Her treatment of
It's not a
Um,
good. Never mind. Go ahead.
her treatment of pain management and anti-inflammatories and her cold laser therapy treatment, it worked really, really well. We're very thankful for that. And she seems very comfortable and she's got her spunk back. Hazel, same thing. Her medication really seemed to kick in quickly and she's comfortable. She's no longer having accidents in the house and she's back to her
Normal.
her
Yeah, she's
normal
normal.
self too. So that was all,
think she's more loud. I think
I think she's a little on edge because, there's just more activity.
I don't know. It's like every time one of these ones make a noise, she's over there just adding to the noise.
She does.
She adds to the drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does a little bit.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. We answered a question about Harper not coming back to Cassie's castle because she's not being bred. Okay. So Lizzie, one of our. Oh, never mind. It's My Yarn Spun Life. She asked, when Oakley and Deja have babies, are you planning on milking them after their babies have been weaned? Just wondering, and thank you for allowing us to watch your wonderful goats. Yeah, they'll have babies, and the plan is to milk them. The nice thing about Nigerians in general, but specifically Nigerian crosses. So how we're crossing our Nigerian dwarf with full-size moms. There's kind of a method to our madness, and it has nothing to do with milking them. It has everything to do with going back to the whole parasite resistance. We want to breed for parasite resistance in your bloodlines. So if
Pause. We're not getting goats from Louisiana. That was a joke. Continue.
Are you serious?
Yes, I said
I'm not getting goats from Louisiana. No offense to Louisianians.
Louisianians.
That's my
not
language.
That's not a word.
I don't think that's a real word.
Um,
Piper.
So it's called hybrid vigor, and that's Dr. Kara's term. I'm not sure if she made that up. I'm sure she didn't because she's a doctor. But hybrid vigor is when you breed two purebreds together from different breeds. So like a Labradoodle.
Labradoodle. I was just about
Okay.
to say that. A Cocker Spaniel. No, they were.
Well, they're purebred. A cockadoodle.
Cockadoodle.
No, just like Mufasa. Anytime we breed Mufasa with one of our full-size girls, so our purebred Alpines, our purebred La Manchas, you get mini Manchas and mini Alpines. That's actually a cross. It's a hybrid. It's not a purebred. Purebreds tend to have a lower immune system to things like parasites. So when you breed two, and that just comes from a long history, not us specifically, we did not cause this, but a long history of inbreeding and line breeding. You might get a better structure on the body, but the immune system might not be what it needs to be. And that's just because you're sharing too much DNA between fathers and daughters and whatever. While it's appropriate and acceptable in the goat breeding community to breed a daughter back to its father, are you losing a little bit of immunity because of that? We don't know. We're not testing it, but whatever. This is like a whole goat breeding community thing, not just us. So, but when you take, say, a Nigerian dwarf and you cross it with a La Mancha, those two bloodlines are 1,000% unrelated. And the idea is that for whatever reason, they have a much stronger defense against things like parasites. So Dr. Kara is like, I don't care anything about purebreds, cross everything. Like, just cross everything. You get hybrid vigor. She keeps talking about hybrid vigor. Now, kind of call BS on some of that because our very first, we did this on purpose, hybrid cross was Vixen.
Was Vixen.
And Vixen,
right.
her first summer, got so sick from worms that I was like, what is this hybrid vigor you speak of?
Yeah.
So it's interesting, but it's something that it's not why we did the whole Nigerian mini cross thing, but it's definitely not it's not a con. It's not a negative. It's definitely going to be a plus. We just don't know how much positive will come from it in the long term.
Yeah. Okay, any more questions?
That was my last question.
That was your last one,
I
Quinn?
think so.
You keep grabbing my hand back here. It's kind of weird. It's like we're right behind Mom's head. We can bob her head back.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing else? I'm going to chat next.
Yeah.
Did we win the lotto?
No.
No.
$498 million. We didn't win. Yeah. We got one number.
All right. Well, Susie asks you, what's in the works for you?
Susie
Ooh.
asks, wait a second. Let's see.
This one?
What?
Nope, that's not her.
Nope, not her. That one?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know what Susie means. In other words, I'm not talking about it right now. Yeah.
Yeah, though some things have to stay a little quiet. Our
Yeah.
biggest project, and we're working on a
Oh, we got
project.
a couple projects, but
Well, our biggest venture right now, we can't talk about.
so I think what Susie's mentioning is I left them as a cliffhanger on one video, and it's not about that. It's about something else. And I decided not to talk about it here because it's not the right platform. So it'll come out on my channel because it's a my thing. It's not a farm thing. We're trying really hard. Remember, I said I'm going to 1,000 videos in a row, one video every single day for 1,000 days. And right now we are on day 915. So we have 85 more days to go of a video every single day. That doesn't mean I'm leaving you guys. It just means I might not post every single day, especially on the days I don't want to, because that's bad to do things you don't want to do, right? It's really emotionally draining. It's not fulfilling. It's like you're doing it because you told somebody you would, not because you want to. So that kind of thing. Out of the last 900 or something days, that's probably only happened like 10 times. But those 10 times, it's really like stressful, if that's a word. So eliminating the commitment of every single day will make things different. But also what I'd like to do, and this is one of the things I never mentioned to you guys, and I talked to you about it a little bit, is my goal is at least 3 videos a week, at least. If you need to hear from me every day, go back and watch all 1,000 videos again, and you'll stay the 3 new videos a week and 2 old videos a week. You'll never not hear from me. It'll just keep
Trust
going.
me, he can't stop talking.
Yeah,
He's not
right.
going anywhere.
Right, I'm not going anywhere. But what I want to try to do, and I'll need the villagers' help for this if they want to help, we're working on a forum with a web team through the website where you can go to the website, click on this link, and it'll basically be what type of video do you want me to make? Like we get Q&A questions. Is there a video like, can you make a video about the pigs? How that all works? Can you make a video about the ducks? How about something about the rabbits? What about this? In other words, trying to get the channel back to more, I don't want to say all how-to videos, but more specific, this is what the video is all about. Like at least 2 videos a week that actually have a normal title that makes sense. And
Searchable
a
content.
searchable content video, and not just Aaron blabbing to the camera for 15 minutes about like what's
Blah,
going
blah,
on
blah.
today, and Lucy running away from him because that happens every morning, and that kind of thing. There'll still be some of those on purpose, but there'll be others, at least 2 videos a week, and I will credit. If I start getting a list from people, I might, hey, this video today is actually being made because Susie wanted to know. Thank you for sending this in, Susie. How we got into ducks, and like, how do you breed them, and like, how'd you set up your duck pond, and blah, blah, blah. And, and now Susie gets a little credit, sees her name in a video, whatever. So that's kind of my plan. I got to come up with like 100 video titles for the year of 2025. And that'll be 2 videos a week. Those will all have to be edited. So that's kind of a project I'm working on to like shift things up moving into next year. That's kind of one of the ideas that I have.
We're going to have to scroll up because there was a bunch of...
Oh, on your screen, scroll up?
Yeah. That's it.
I'll go to here.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'll try to find them as you say them.
Right.
How far back are you on time?
36.
36. Okay, right in here somewhere. Go ahead. Tell me what you got.
Sharon D asked, will you be the ones collaborating with Arms Family to sell soap? I am unaware of any collaboration there.
I am unaware of that too. Daniel, if you're interested, give me a call.
Also, for anybody who's new, it seems like we're holding your attention, which is shocking. If you're new and you want to ask a question now, we've gotten through all the emailed questions, previous, all this stuff. As you're seeing, the OGs are already doing it. Please put a red emoji question mark at the beginning and the end of your question if you have one, so that we can easily spot it through the chat. We will try to answer everybody's question. If we skip over your question, it might be because either we've already answered it in a similar way earlier, or it's just not something that we would like to touch upon today. We might discuss it later in a video, but I don't know. We aren't really offended by too many questions, so chances are we'll probably answer yours. The next one down is from Bonnie. Who, PS, by the way, St. Louis has to they need to get on guard because Mel B and Bonnie are getting together in person.
Okay.
This is our Thelma and Louise of the village.
Oh God.
And they're trouble on chat most nights.
And now they're getting together.
And now they're gonna get
I got a question.
Mhm.
Are they going to a casino? Will alcohol be involved?
I don't know the details of their visit.
Oh geez.
I just know that St. Louis should be prepared for anything.
St. Louis.
It's gonna get
When is this happening?
soon.
Oh geez.
Soon. So they need to start prepared. Anyway, I thought that was
Yeah, got it. So go ahead.
I think it's gonna be great. Do you think you will get as much milk from the hybrids now? So when Oakley and Deja come through.
I don't think so.
Deja comes from a really, really strong milking line.
Yeah.
And I know that Mufasa's mom also is a very strong milker.
I don't think so.
I think time will tell.
Time will tell.
I don't
think
know.
Genetically, they're just not as big as a Toggenburg with those huge udders.
Right.
So no, I don't think so. But from a logistics standpoint, we have plenty of milk, and we're doing okay. And you guys, from a very high level, are more soap people than you are lotion, and lotion takes way more milk than soap. So
Yeah, we're doing just fine.
doing just fine.
Yeah. I think, a couple of years ago we got shit about oh, well, why have dairy goats if you don't keep them in milk? If they can't milk for X amount of months. And I was like, okay, well, first of all, your comment is coming from a production standpoint only.
Yeah.
Right? You're thinking produce. You're not valuable unless you're producing. That's just not how we run it here. We only take as much as we need. And that's just enough to run our business with a little bit of extra, just in case of a Winnie and Winston situation or an Otis and Oakley situation.
Yep.
Which we were so thankful that we didn't even have to dive into our milk supply for Otis and Oakley, because apparently Nina can handle triplets. Surprise. Right. But it might be just fine to get a little less milk, because we're finding that in order to run our business, we're done collecting. We don't need the milk.
We don't need
right
it
now.
right now.
At this point, we are only collecting milk right now because it would be inhumane and dangerous to their lives to just stop milking right now.
Right. Yeah, at this point, we're a week away and we'll have no room in the freezer for milk. But we're also going right into Christmas soap prep. That's happening in the next week or two. So milk will be coming out while new milk's going in.
A lot of milk is going to be coming out.
So we'll be okay, but yeah, they don't need to be milked. We want them dry by September. That's always the goal.
The
And
ideal,
it's going to be very difficult with the size of those togs. They need to be eating less grain,
which they are.
even less, because at some point, and milk, it's going to be a while. Because right now they're on 48-hour udders, and some of them can make it to an extra half a day.
I would say everybody but
Right.
Grace and Evelyn maybe 80.
Yeah, where we're only milking in the mornings. Do we decide like, okay, let's
think,
go
like,
3 days instead of
Yeah,
2?
Greta,
Yeah.
the other 3.
Yeah.
So Greta, Dolce, and who's the other?
80 was fine. 80 could have made it. She's just so hard to milk when she's that full. Yeah,
Well, because she's got the smallest teeth.
you're right. She's a
Yeah.
challenge. All right, what's the next question?
Me.
Oh,
Oh, Queenie, go ahead.
Quinny, what's your question?
So my question: what happens if we run out of milk?
What
Run-
happens if we run out of milk?
We don't
Mom
feed our
dig-
family.
Mom digs a hole and gets in it.
Yeah. We don't feed our
No.
family. We don't pay the bills. Like, no,
It would be bad.
it'd be bad.
It would be really bad.
Yeah. So we don't run out.
We don't run out.
No. Or we sell a lot more swanky sauce and T-shirts and other things. That's why we call.
I mean,
you
I
know
guess
what that
it would
word
be a
is called?
good problem to have.
Diversify. That's the word.
Yeah. It would be a good problem to have because it meant we went through a lot
Right.
of soap and lotion.
Lots of roll-on perfume. Lots of
Yeah.
lip balm. Like, just keep going.
We would just be sold out until the next time. The next babies.
Season.
Yeah.
Mhm.
June of
Or
2025.
our freezer,
Yep.
promotional freezer, is gonna be empty,
Right.
full of food
Yep.
instead of milk.
That's right. All right. So Susie asks, Liz, is it too much to breed 8 girls? It would not be too much to breed 8 girls. We could probably manage it depending on how much time is in between each girl's due date. But we are set up perfectly for 7 girls. Just with the number of kidding stalls we have, we can technically go to 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. 9. If
We can
use the IO
technically
stall.
go to 9 if we use the aisle stalls, but oh my gosh, that
11
is.
if we use friggin' FEMA.
I'm not doing FEMA trailers
we use-
anymore. Are you putting bunny ears up behind me?
No, don't do that.
No.
So 9.
My
Oh,
nephew-
okay.
Yeah.
We can technically go to 9, but I really don't want to, and there would have to be a really good reason.
What question did you just answer?
Oh, it's
Just something that popped up?
No, down.
Oh.
Susie
Hello.
Jacobson.
Oh. Are you getting the new greenhouse? No, we didn't win the lotto.
That greenhouse was very expensive. Also
Very.
very nice,
It was nice,
but
with no grass.
that would be like the dream greenhouse. But
Yeah.
that's where it's gonna stay.
Yeah.
In my dreams.
My art project has started, not going so well, but it will continue.
Peggy asks, why does House of Pie 1 not get grain like the other goats? Also, thanks for the Q&A. Y'all are amazing.
So one
Thank you.
of the reasons is they're big and fat. They don't need it in House of Pie 1. And the other reason is we had mix of boys and girls. So you got to be careful what you feed them. You don't want to give all alfalfa to a bunch of boys. So, but they don't need it. Those boys are huge. The one girl in there right now, help me out, D, does come out for grain almost every morning.
So a lot of
She
times,
doesn't need it either.
So with neutered males, we tell our like prospective customers, our prospective goat families, that neutered males are the easiest goats you can have if you're looking for pet goats. They don't require grain. There's no stress on their bodies. They're not breeding. They're not milking. And so they don't need the extra calories. The grain is really there for extras. And when you've got healthy boys who have no stress on their bodies, they don't need extra. Now, if one of them were to get sick and they lost a bunch of weight, grain is the way to get your weight back up. It's like eating French fries. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
you get your
yeah.
weight back
And
up.
cheese roll.
And cheeseburgers, right? It's extra. But it's not a necessity. And you guys are so used to watching us feed grain that it almost becomes like expected that all goats need grain. And that's just not true. So goats who are growing, so young goats under the age of 6 to 12 months, depending on how they're growing and what breed they are, they need grain. Goats who are in milk need grain. Those who are at the end of their pregnancy need grain. Those who are at the end of their lives and are having trouble maintaining weight, they need grain. But you have a bunch of neutered males, they don't need grain. And it actually would cause issues if they did have grain because it changes the chemistry within their urine, and they could end up getting crystals, and that becomes a life-threatening situation for male goats. So grain can cause crystals, and boy goats, just neutered boy goats, don't need it. Now, we do give our intact males grain during rut, so during their breeding season, and that's because their bodies are taxed, and they might not be eating as much hay as they should be because they're so focused on breeding, girl. So they need those, like what we're doing for Piper right now. She's not back on her normal food. She's on puppy food. Every bite of food for her right now has more calories in it to help her maintain her weight and not lose weight. Same thing with boy goats when they're in their breeding season. You want, if they're only going to be eating maybe say 80% of what they used to be eating in hay, then that extra 20% needs to be made up somewhere. And the most efficient way of getting more calories into their body is with grain. But to your point, never alfalfa.
Yeah, they don't need it.
Well, no.
They shouldn't have it.
Have
They can't have it.
alfalfa.
Yep.
So regardless, they can have like a dairy grain, but then you have to really make sure that they have access to the ammonium chloride. And that's used to break down crystals in their urine. So they don't get blocked. Right. And they don't die. Right. Because we're happy.
I don't know where did we go? I saw here.
Well, you're just throwing up questions. These guys.
I thought you had this question. I thought this was
Val's
next.
question. Got it.
Yep.
Kid update. Looking forward to school. What year? Tyler going to the same school. All right. So kid update. What grade are you going into?
6.
And we don't know your teacher yet.
No.
And you're officially, well, you were middle school last year. Olivia's first year of middle school.
Yeah.
'Cause she's
Well,
going into-
pre-middle school. I'm middle school.
Pre-middle school. There's no
What?
such thing as pre-middle school.
They consider 5th grade in our school middle school.
Yeah. In our school, 5 through 8 is middle school.
Yeah.
That's why you were allowed to do cross country last year, because you were in middle school.
Yeah.
So Quinn's going into 6th grade, Olivia's going into 5th grade, Tyler's going into 10th grade, and Jake's going into his first year of work.
Yeah.
Because he graduated last year. So
Wow.
that's crazy. Are you doing cross country this year?
No.
No, he already said
No.
no. He's going back to drums.
I was giving him the opportunity to think about it for a
I
while.
already said it in
Yeah,
the
he said
video.
it a long time ago.
Oh,
One video.
I don't watch the channel. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Here
Olivia's going to Florida.
Oh,
She
this
is going
year.
to Florida.
Yep.
Oh,
She's
my
going to compete down in Florida, right next to Disney. And that's
Oh.
super exciting.
That's super, yep. Exciting.
And I think it's official that she's been working all summer to try to get onto her team's or her gym's gold team. So she started in bronze, then last year she was in silver, and this year she's been working on getting all the skills that are needed for the gold team. And I mean, the email came out for
Sounds like she's gold.
on who's going to Florida, and her name was listed on the gold team. So we're super excited for her. She's been working really, really hard. Yeah. And Tyler is going to the same school. He's in an ag school. So he has, this year is the next phase of so freshman and sophomore year, you use those 2 years to figure out what program you want to focus on for the remaining last 2 years of high school. So this is where he'll get exposed to the shop that he might want to focus on, and that's exciting for him.
Yeah.
So
Like a
everybody's
mechanic?
doing really well. Yeah, he wants to do the small engine repair.
Yeah, like Dylan does.
No.
Dylan does
auto
something.
mechanic.
Yeah,
That's cars.
it's different because his would be on
More
like
lawnmower stuff.
farm
tractors.
equipment. So he's pretty excited about that, and sophomore year, crazy.
Yep.
Can you scroll down on my screen,
Mhm.
please, and thank you. A little more. you can put Val's question all the way up at the top.
I didn't see it.
Oh.
Oh,
I don't know.
it jumped.
Hold on. Stop. Keep going up. Keep going up. Might have lost. Keep going.
Might have lost some questions because the chat jumped.
Actually, that question I remember seeing, but keep going. That's nope. Keep going. Keep going.
I'm trying.
Oh.
Oh, where are we going? So what?
Okay,
Oh
that's
yeah,
it, that's
this
it,
is where
that's
we
it.
are, right
Yeah.
here.
Okay. So Typo's question: what happened to Danica? Are you able to put it?
I'm trying to find it. Yep, once I find
Yeah,
it, it's right there.
So Danica had like the trifecta of crap, right? So she had age against her at over 11 years old.
My age.
I know. At over 11 years old, Danica was our oldest goat on the property. So she just that alone is a pretty big strike against her, right? Then we had this heat wave, and this heat wave was no joke. And it wasn't even that it was like, 3 days of heat and she couldn't take it anymore. That could have done it as an 11-year-old, but our issue was that we had a constant hot spell for what, a month?
Oh yeah, it was just hot all the time.
The week leading up to her passing, we had several days of heat indices over 100 degrees. And I remember how miserable I was just being out there, but I had the chance to go into air conditioning and cool down. Unfortunately, the goats don't, and that's why we have fans blowing. We have all the, water troughs are topped off every morning, and we have plenty of, with the way our barns are built, we make sure that we have shady spaces for the goats to lay down in. And she had all those things. It's just at that age and with that much stress on her body, it all just became too much. So the thinking is that she just couldn't handle the heat anymore. And for, I don't want to say for whatever reason, because I think it's pretty obvious. It was just too taxing on her body, and she lay down, and that was it. There was no sign that morning that she was struggling with anything. Yeah, she was slower, but she was also over 11 years old. So that in itself isn't, I'm not going to raise an eyebrow to, why is she not as quick as she used to be? Well, because she's slowing down, and that's just based on age. It's hard to think, because if it wasn't this summer, it was probably going to be this winter, and the older you get, the harder these seasons of extremes are. And to your point, apparently we live in Louisiana now, where the humidity is so high and the temperatures are so high.
Super hot and super humid. And
So
the worms love that.
And it was, and I don't know if it was a worm.
No,
thing.
I'm just saying that's what was on the other topic.
Yeah. And it could have been a worm thing, but it was one of those things where if she had worms, she didn't have them long enough to have symptoms.
Right. She had pink eyelids. You all know we check the pink eyelids. Are they pink? Are they white?
And after Danica passed, and then we started having, Chanel came down with diarrhea, Winston came down with diarrhea, Billy came down with diarrhea, Dee came down with diarrhea. Like, all these goats came down with diarrhea within like 3 or 4 days of each other. Every single one of them had pink eyelids. So you couldn't go around and check, as
Right.
Part of our standard of practices is to make sure that everybody's eyelids are nice and salmon pink. That tells us that they're not struggling with any parasites that are sucking their blood and making them anemic. Well, that's great, but none of these worms are making them anemic, and all of their eyelids are looking great, even the ones that have diarrhea. So it's like maddening, utterly maddening, because we want to catch a problem before it becomes a problem. You want to catch something earlier, because like your dad says, problems don't get better with time. This was like, we could not preempt these problems. We just had to wait for somebody to become symptomatic, and I personally don't like that. So
Yeah.
So that was kind of the issue with Danica. We just, we were going to close up House Pie, and she was laying there and just so weak and couldn't even just hold her head up to lay down. And we tried everything. We tried our typical B vitamin and Banamine and
nothing
fluids and all of that, just to give her some support in hopes that we could help her. But ultimately it didn't take us very long to realize that this was not a situation we were going to be able to correct for her. And at that point, now it's our responsibility and our obligation to make sure that she's not suffering. And, we made that call.
And
Here comes the next question.
at the end, she was trying to lift her head up. It was like 1,000.
Yeah, she couldn't
she
lift
was
her
very,
head.
very weak. Yeah. You get cashmere from the girls.
No.
No.
Our goats do not. They don't have that type of
Fiber.
Fiber.
Yeah, so these are not fiber goats. We don't get cashmere or any kind of hair that you could make anything from, really. That's more, like I said, there's a different breed of goats called cashmere goats. And obviously sheep, you get their wool from them and you can make stuff out of them. But our goats, the breeds that we have, are dairy goats. And so they're really best bred for milk only.
So somebody asked, and he's not here anymore. Tyler, what's your next project? His next project, that kid's getting close to trying to buy his own car. Yeah.
That seat so that I can...
Yep. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to buy it early so he can work on it and do things with it before it becomes time to actually need to drive it. That's his goal. Yeah.
Well, because he's 15 now, 15 and a half, and he wants to get into a vehicle. He's going to be the kid, and I don't mean this as a diss to Jake, because I think every kid matures and progresses on their own schedule, and just because society says 16 you're allowed to get your license doesn't mean you're ready to get your license. Tyler's going to be the kid who gets his license on his 16th birthday. Like, that's what he's ready for. That scares me, but there we are.
There we are. Yep, here goes another question for you.
Okay, are you still going to breed Chai and Mila? Well, Chai was supposed to be synced up with Piper on her last heat cycle. She's now officially a month overdue. The last heat cycle, she was 2 months late. So we probably have another month to go before Chai comes into heat. And Mila is, well,
Still not.
Mila is now 1 year and 3 months, and she has yet to have a heat cycle. So I would love to say that we're going to be breeding them this year, but I'm not hopeful that either one of them are going to be able to work their uterus this year. Like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Mila is just like, at some point, I don't think Dr. P said we should really worry until she hits like 2 years old and has never had a heat cycle or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting over here like, we got a dog that's so defective she can't even figure out.
She's more than just
She
defective.
can't even figure out how to use her uterus. Like, that's how
she's just goofy. She's very weird.
Brain cells. We joke lovingly. We joke that Chai and Mila share a single brain cell, and it is
And they have to
Wi-Fi connected, right? They are Wi-Fi connected. So when Mila's on this side of the house and Chai's on this side of the house, they're just broken. They have no thoughts going on in their heads, and
Yeah.
they're driving me nuts. But yeah, I mean, Mila's she can figure this out. Mila's gonna be a great mom. Like, she's got huge body
Yeah, she's
to
big.
hold these
She's a
puppies.
big girl.
And, you know,
Yeah.
Chai, I'm a little more concerned about just because her body type is different.
Chive's like all muscle,
She is all
and
muscle.
then Mila is all fat.
Well,
Not really.
she's a chunky monkey,
She's just taller.
but she has a different build.
Almost bigger than Caesar.
Yeah.
She's a big girl. Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Okay. So Lori asks, do you remember what year Jack was born? I'm trying to remember and I can't.
Oh,
So no,
somebody might have answered
I
it.
kind of want to say it was 2019, but somebody's gonna have to put it in chat because you know those goat notebooks.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna have to put it in chat because I don't have it. Given some time, I could scroll back through Facebook and find a
Right, we could
timestamp
find it.
photo. But I just don't have that on me right now.
Yep. Did you watch the Olympics? The gymnastics?
We watched
Yes.
every second of the Olympics, and we're completely obsessed with every event.
Yep.
All the highlights, all the medals. You know, not on every sport. I will say there's not enough time in the day to watch.
No.
You know, but I mean, from the woman who was 7 months pregnant fencing to all the swimming medals and all the gymnastics was like our go-to, and I'm so happy they started with gymnastics this year. That was just, we had viewing parties for the opening ceremony. He rolls his eyes, but we went to the grocery store and planned a whole opening ceremony party. We couldn't watch it on the recap. We had to watch it live, and I made crepes.
Yep. She
Come
bought
on.
French food.
We bought French food.
I was like, why can't the Olympics be held in Italy?
Oh, he is a
We
pastarian.
were like, we can have a whole Italian food. That'd be so
Yeah.
much more fun.
No, we did like little
Trying to-
steak sliders on baguettes.
Yeah, shop around for French
And we
food.
had macarons
Yeah, it was
and croissants.
croissant. All right, next question.
How is the trellis coming along for the shipping
Done.
container?
We're just waiting for the plants to go in the ground.
Well, we can't put the plants in the ground during heat
It's not
waves.
that hot anymore. They can go
Well,
in there.
not right now.
They can
but
totally go in there. They'll be just fine. We can water them. They'll be great. All right, here we go. Here comes another question.
My screen is. not
There you go.
working.
No, your screen is not working.
All right. Debbie asks, how did you come up with Sherman and Marshall's name?
Oh, I don't remember how we came up with that one. That's a good one. I don't remember.
So Sherman and Marshall were one of those goats where you just look at them and you're like, his name's Sherman.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it just came out of nowhere, kind of.
He just looked like a Sherman.
I
to
could swear there was
me.
another name I came up with, and you guys giggled at the dining room table, and you were like, "Oh God, we're not."
That was when we were naming Otis and Oakley, and you came up with like Larry.
It's
And
not
we're like,
it.
we're not having a Larry. Sorry.
Yeah,
There were many names that were thrown around when Otis and Oakley were born. And we were trying to see like, oh, should we play on Lucy? Their grandmother is the queen, you know, undercover queen, but she holds her own. So we were thinking about like royalty names like Duke and
Yeah.
Duchess, which sounds ridiculous now that I even say it out loud. And then I was thinking about naming Oakley Lulu after Lucy's middle name Lou, like because we call her Lucy Lou. And then I wanted to make sure that like, well, if we have a Lulu, then the boy needs to have an L name, and this one comes up with Larry.
Larry.
And I was like, this isn't flying. It's Otis and Oakley. Done.
Next question. Yeah. Can you tell I'm ready to go close the barn?
Yeah.
I'm trying to move fast.
Will
here.
you make your coconut soap again?
Hopefully.
I'm working on a coconut. I don't know if it's actually gonna work. And probably not. But I'm working on a coconut. I don't remember what the actual name of it is. It's like coconut snowball or something. It's a tropical but yet Christmassy fragrance. So it may or may not come out for Christmas. If it doesn't, I don't know.
Okay. Next.
Would you consider doing Polaroids of some of the goats again and selling them? That's on you.
Yes, I will eventually. I gotta get that camera back out again. I have it. Yeah,
In the closet.
we can probably do that. Yep. All right. Here we go.
7. Oh,
Oh.
and who? Oh, my
Oh, the question. How
The
many
question.
are you breeding this year, and
goodness. So
who?
it's
We don't know 100% yet.
too soon to say exactly who we're breeding because, I mean, it's almost not too soon. We're almost there.
We're almost.
So if Chanel can recover 100%, and I'm saying if she's at 99%, she gets the year off. It'll be Chanel, 80. I'm not in my right mind to say all of these names. Hold on, I have them written down. I'm so smart. Hold on, where'd it go? 1,
Oh,
2,
do
3,
Nigerian
4, 5,
dwarfs
6,
carry
7,
for
8.
5 months?
Hold on,
Yes.
I wasn't done.
That's fine. I was trying to help.
Oh yeah, same
Speed things-
gestation.
Same gestation.
So we have Chanel,
Gosh, you tapped on it. Don't tap on it.
Chanel, Fendi, Dolce, Ari, 80, River, Finley, and Fergie.
That's 8. Oh,
2, 4, 6,
Yep.
8.
the-
Well, I
the-
just said those are the eligible ones.
oh, I thought she just committed to 8.
Chanel's our wild card.
Could be one of them years.
It could be because I already said I have room for 9. I'd like to keep it 7. But we have, these are our eligible girls, and Chanel's the wild card.
You heard it here first. Got it. It'll end up in a video somewhere because I won't remember all that.
Not even a little.
Not even a little. It even tells like
But
how
the-
many days.
You just confused everybody because they're like, wait, why does it say 24 weeks and that one says
Whatever.
minus 42
ignore
days?
it. I'll tell you in the video. Ignore all that.
Well, the minus
It's how
42
the master works.
the minus 42 days is about how soon before we breed them.
There you go. It's her breeding schedule.
Yeah. Can you go back to live? If we're not going to do, I need to be able to see what they're saying over here.
Got it.
And
I'll just put that on live.
yeah, might as
Yeah.
well.
And I'm about to, because I don't know. What's that say?
I don't know. Vicky said, do you think the girls that were bred with Mufasa kidded earlier than normal because they were minis? I don't really remember anybody
Not
delivering
super early.
super early.
Then we had 5 days early. That was it. What else
Who
did
was
early?
was that? Oops, 5 days early. I remember Dolce gave us a surprise, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So I don't have it in my phone anymore what day. Actually, I do.
It delivered on.
Um,
Okay, are you planning to open the store on the day after Thanksgiving? Yes. The store will be open that Black Friday weekend.
it was Dolce.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. For Black Friday weekend. Coffee and soap and lotion and all of it will be there. Come on down. Bring your friends.
Yeah, nobody really surprised me this year as far as like what day they delivered on, except for Dolce. Everybody else, I mean, Sherman and Marshall were born on 149.
So yeah, so that's only a day early.
80 was right on 150. Chanel was on 149, which is a little surprising. But then Dolce at 146 was a huge surprise. Grace at 153, Bonnie at 151, and Evelyn at 153.
Yes, nobody was super early.
Nothing really surprised me except for Dolce, and that was only because she's a dog, and we were like, dogs never deliver early. Team Emma, sometimes I know, not this year, but sometimes will you
breed Oakley, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plan
The
is to breed Oakley,
plan-
not
hold on.
this year.
the plan is to breed Oakley. Now, there was a question I brought up to Dr. Kara, and that was, why are Oakley and Otis not growing? Like, they weigh the same 34 pounds they weighed in June. They still weigh 34 pounds now, and they have not been sick. And they've
Right.
been eating, and their big fat bellies are huge. So I got thinking about it, and I'm like, well, hold on a second, because in the first year of a goat's life, that's when they do the vast majority of their growing. Well, if they identify as full Nigerian, which we know they do,
Yeah.
then maybe they're only going to get to about 50 or 60 pounds full grown, like their dad.
Right. Yeah.
And now Lucy, Bonnie never made it to full size because she passed at 2 years old, and they grow until they're 3.
Yeah.
But Lucy, what was her like prime weight? Like 130?
Yeah, maybe.
So even if
120.
like you take 130,
Yeah.
what's half of that?
Half of that would be
Like 165?
65, yeah.
Not 165. 65.
Yeah.
That's the size of a Nigerian.
Right.
So they could just be tiny.
They could just be like a
But there's
Stella.
no chance in hell that Oakley will be bred to anybody other than a Nigerian.
Ever. Right.
Ever.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. When will Wacky Wednesdays come back? We don't know. Soon, probably. I gotta look into that. Yeah,
Y'all can blame Olivia.
yeah.
I'm telling
She's
you,
got
this
the hardest schedule out of the
girl
whole
has
thing.
the hardest schedule. Takes us out of our normal business stuff, especially in the summertime, because some practices are in the evening and some practices are right first thing in the morning. And the girl is in the gym right now she's in the gym for 16 hours a week.
She's in the gym a lot.
And
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. And that's not even including like makeup days, because sometimes they'll cancel practice because it's too hot. And as we said, there were a lot of heat days.
Yeah, and they have to close the gym when it gets hot.
So that means she's at 20 hours a week.
Yep, here comes a very important
Girl
question.
has a full-time job.
Very important question.
Oh, you want a close-up of my nails?
Here you go.
Let's see. Hold on. How do you do this? Here, you just get one. So there's a little, Olivia designed my nails. So there's a little heart on that one, and then they're solid, and then the polka dot. And then the rest are just solid.
Here you go.
Yeah.
That's
So
it.
they're like that on each hand. And they're in her favorite color. Her favorite color right now is teal. Yeah.
How do I clear comment? I didn't know I can do that. There we go. That's cool. Just sort of. Okay, here. Read that one while I scroll.
Just scroll back to the subject about grain. You mentioned neutered boys don't need grain as it can cause issues. Is there a reason Winston is having grain with him being a neutered boy? So, as she is going to do, there is an exception to every rule. Winston does not need grain. We are
He doesn't need it.
super careful with what grain he is getting. So all of our babies are on a medicated feed, and that's just to help eliminate their chances of getting coccidia, which is a different from worms, but still really affects babies and the elderly specifically. So it's normal for people to feed a medicated food in order to eliminate the risks of coccidia. That has nothing to do with Winston. But where Winston comes into is this feed also has ammonium chloride built in, which is what helps break down any possible crystals that will be forming in the bladder, so that there's hopefully it eliminates the risks of him blocking with crystals in his urethra. We have to be really careful with Winston. I don't want him on grain. Unfortunately, he lives with a bunch of girls, and it is just easier to take him out with the rest of his crew and give him a little bit of grain before sending him off to outside under the porch with everybody else. Otis is getting the same thing now. He's a growing boy, so it's,
Eventually, they'll all stop grain. Very soon.
Very soon.
We'll do
We're
no
gonna
grain.
have to fix the whole nobody's getting grain anymore.
Nobody.
Except we have to keep the breeding girls on grain. So
Well, we can go breeding girls out And then none of the other ones. The babies don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
The Winnie and Winstons don't need it anymore. None of those guys.
Yeah.
All right, here you go.
This was a question we had about 2 years ago.
Yeah, if you burn the paddocks, would it help with the worms? The answer is no.
Nothing.
It doesn't help. Yeah.
Nothing.
I mean, it can help a
eliminates-
little, but it's not going to eliminate it.
No,
but-
we literally asked Dr. Kara the same
Yeah,
question and Dr. Lindsay the same question. Nothing is going to eliminate worms.
But they also do say dry and heat. If we can get hot but super dry, that could help. But you're talking for 15, 20 days, not a controlled burn, which is 1 day.
Yeah, and y'all have to remember that this paddock wasn't used all last year. It had a whole year of resting, and so we're still having a problem.
Yeah.
So no matter what you do, these worms live in the ground. They just live there, and they're not being killed by a harsh winters. We used to get really cold winters, and that would kill some of the population. Same with ticks, same with mosquitoes. There's a reason we're having a lot more cases here in New England, specifically, a lot more cases of Lyme disease. And that's because the ticks aren't dying off. They're just populating over and over and over again. And it's the same thing with parasites. That nothing's killing them. They always have a host to live on, and it's unfortunate. How will we celebrate hitting 40,000 subs?
Next part.
Practice run of Christmas lights.
I like that idea.
Baby.
We might be able to do that. Did we hit it yet? I don't think we did.
I don't
There's no
know.
way we hit it during this.
Somebody would have said something.
Yeah, somebody would have said something. There's no way. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yes.
I'll log in.
This is a good question. Will Snickerdoodle Coffee make a comeback? Yes, that's a Christmas one. Pumpkin's coming back for the September launch. That's a pumpkin one. Oh my god, that's a fall one. Snickerdoodle will come back during Christmas. So yes,
Oh, we're not
Those
making it during this live.
those are coming back. No, we're
We've
totally
only
not.
gone up 4 since
That's not
starting
happening.
this.
We're only picking up like 5 a day. So
Yeah.
it's yeah. Here comes another one that I can't read because these glasses are garbage. Sorta.
Will you get more full-size girls once yours are no longer breeding? Well, see, I'm hoping. Here's the thing: Mufasa's going to get a lot of work this year. We have so many new girls
Mhm.
coming up that I don't want to breed a first-time, 18-month-old girl to a full-size Asher and Yoshi. They produce big babies. We know this. So I don't want my first-time girls to have a 9-pound baby. That's awful. So every first-time girl is going to be matched with Mufasa. After that, game on, right? I don't know. The options open up a little more to somebody like Ari and Fendi, and then the year after that, no, we didn't keep anybody. No, all of our minis will always be bred to mini. So Ari and River and Fendi, those are our 3 full-size girls that are coming back this year. They will all be bred to Mufasa their first year. Now then, let's see, in year 2 of breeding, will I breed Ari, for example, to Asher? Will Fendi and River go with Yoshi? I don't know. So we could get the possibility of more full-size goats on the farm, but at some point we're going to have to figure out, like, where do we go? Where do we go with this? Do we go full mini? Do we go half and half and we bring in some other bloodlines that we haven't had on the farm yet? And not like different breeds, but I personally don't have any desire to bring in another breed.
No.
But are there options here that we haven't explored yet?
No.
We try not to think too far ahead of time when it comes to the breeding schedule, because we just want to see what's coming. What will the next generation bring?
Yep.
Oh, TT wants to know. Dylan wants to know, for a friend, do you guys do anything
For a friend.
pumpkin spice lotion or soaps.
Interesting.
So I think we did have I think we do have pumpkin, or do we not?
Lotion, I don't think we
Lotion.
have it. If we did, we might
We
have.
had it.
We had it.
We had it. And then there's a jack-o'-lantern soap that's coming out called Pumpkin Patch. While it's not like
What's
super,
the orange one? That thing smells amazing. It's pumpkin something.
literally just said Pumpkin Patch.
Oh, there you go.
Pumpkin Patch. The orange one that
The
looks
orange
like a
one, pumpkin patch. That is literally pumpkin in a.
But it has no, because
Almost eat it.
the blend is a little spicier than a
That's my
traditional
point.
pumpkin.
Yeah.
It's not just pumpkin. It is
Like
more of a
pumpkin
pumpkin
spice.
spice.
Yeah, it's a good one. That's coming.
No,
And yes, it's a super
Grayson-
cool bar, but still use it.
Grayson is retired for our farm, but he is still working as a stud for others. Yeah, he
Oh.
fathered babies last year.
Interesting. How many roosters in the new chicken coop? Well, in the barn, you guys have 2 roosters, 2 hens. In the barn, they're very loud. We have to fix that. Yeah. Yes, this is very true. You might
For
have,
the
to,
minis,
might
yeah.
have to build a smaller milk stand.
Yep, we'll have a mini stand.
You might need one eventually. I don't know if I'm ever
Oh,
going to catch up to
Daphne.
real time. Oh, here comes another one. Somebody did ask if you hear from any of the families that have some of the goats that we sold.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Actually, Basil Sage and Gucci just got new herd mate,
Yeah.
Mini Donkey.
Here you go.
She's also a lady that does my hair.
Yep. Basil, Sage, and
Yep.
Gucci have a donkey friend.
Basil and Sage, that's not their names anymore, but I can't keep track of who's who.
Right.
So I just keep calling them Basil and Sage. And Gucci kept his name. But
They have a donkey friend.
yeah, they just got a mini donkey.
Oh.
Yeah, very cool.
Yep. So this is an interesting one. And we won't get too far into it, but what tipped you off if something was wrong with Piper? Well, she wasn't eating, but that didn't really tip us off because she did that last time too. But then she was dripping. She was dripping
Mhm.
too much.
So yeah, it was. So Piper always, her last pregnancy was horrible for morning sickness. Like some of the worst morning sickness our vet has ever seen. Very persistent. If a dog gets morning sickness, it's usually between like the 3rd and the 4th week of pregnancy while implantation was happening. And their hormones are just like really skyrocketing. That progesterone is making them just feel yucky. She did it for her whole pregnancy. It was awful trying to get her to eat. And we said, if she does this again this pregnancy, we're not going for a number 3. And right on schedule, at about a week after we bred her, she started with the morning sickness. And we were like, great, here it comes again. The vet put her on all of the medication for the anti-nausea. And we were trying to get food into her. It was just not working. And that did, like you said, that did not tip us off because this is something that Piper struggled with for her whole pregnancy last time. What tipped us off was that she did have what looked initially like implantation bleeding right around the end of the 2nd week going into the 3rd week.
Yeah.
Which is right on schedule. Day 18 to 21 is when they have implantation. That didn't worry me so much because there wasn't a lot of it. And it was kind of sporadic here and there. Now, leading up to, I would say, 3 or 4 days prior to when we knew something was wrong, we actually started taking her temperature because we're like, something just does not feel right here. But she had no fever. So we're like, okay, so we'll just continue doing what we do and hope that after implantation is done, that maybe her hormones settle out and she gets less and less nauseous and she'll start eating something. But then that Sunday morning, now mind you, we had lost Danica at like 11 o'clock Saturday night. So this is the next morning. And I'm looking at Piper and I'm like, you just look like hell. Like she just had that look of, I'm miserable and I hate life right now. And she still had a little bit of dripping. And so I was like, I'm taking your temperature again. If you were somewhere, you went somewhere, and I took her temperature. Then I called you, and I was like, I'm calling the vet, like, because that morning I was like, maybe I should call the vet, but then it's Sunday morning, and nobody's there, so maybe I'll call first thing Monday. But then I took her temperature, and she was running a fever, and I was like, nope, I'm calling right now. Talked to the same vet that had just been with us with Danica the night before, and she was like, what's going on? Like, I saw your name, and something's going on with your dog? And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, the office is closed. So she said, meet us there at 5:00 and we'll do ultrasounds and blood tests and all of that stuff. And it all went south. So
she went into emergency surgery on that Monday.
Yep. First thing Monday morning, she went in. That is the only effective treatment for what she had, which is called pyometra. And it's a life-threatening infection of the lining of her uterus, and they believe that it was, oddly enough, when they got into surgery, they found that only one of the horns of the uterus. We talked about horns of uteruses when Moo was pregnant and she had her emergency C-section, where the triplets were growing in just one horn of her uterus. Babies grow in the two different horns, left and right horn. And this one, it was the one horn of her uterus had the pyometra, the other side was fine. So if you think of the size of a normal uterus for the stage of pregnancy that she was in, it was like the size of my pinky, the girth of my pinky, maybe a little longer. And you just have like these little gummy bears that are starting to form within the tubular structure of the horn. In this case, it's quite possible and probable that the one side of the uterus in that one horn was pregnant, and then she lost the pregnancy, and then that pregnancy just sat and stewed, and then it like got infected, and that's how she ended up with pyo. The other side would have eventually gotten infected as well, but it's it wasn't at that stage yet. So we were very, very, very fortunate that we caught it when we did, because pyo is one of those things that is it's just super life threatening. So
I'm trying to find. I see a lot of love coming in the chat. Like, thank you for being here. You guys are the best. Blah blah blah. All that stuff. Thank you. We appreciate it. I'm just not going to pop them all up on the screen right now. I'm trying to find the next question. This one. The T-shirt you have on is the one. Yeah, that T-shirt you have on is in the store.
yeah,
It should be.
should be there.
Yeah, that one should be there. Yeah.
I would check the coffee section.
Oh, it might be under coffee.
Collection. It'll be in the swag too, but I think I organized all the swag specifically for coffee, which this is one of them, in the coffee collection.
Oh, here's an old one. Go ahead.
Liz, I was watching an old 2019 Q&A, and you mentioned a goat named Daphne. Was she Dee's 2018 twin? And was it a boy's name? What was the boy's name? Okay, so Daphne was actually Danica's. It was the same year Poppy was born, who was Dee's baby. So, okay, Poppy was Dee's baby. Poppy did have a twin brother, but he was born sleeping. Daphne had to have been Danica's baby. And I remember tossing up the idea of keeping Daphne or Poppy, because both of them were looking really good, but I didn't want to keep both of them. And I remember bringing them to the Lebanon Fair, and Poppy won Best Junior Doe and Show, and the judge literally said, I will take 15 of I want a whole herd full of this goat right here. And it was Poppy. And I was like, we're keeping Poppy.
Yeah.
And with the story that she had of, being born next to this dead twin, Poppy was actually pronounced dead at birth by Dr. Kara.
Yep, first time ever.
And she was actually not dead. And there was quite a moment there that Poppy definitely was destined to live on our farm. She unfortunately had an unfortunate adolescence, and entrance into motherhood, and just never recovered from that, and became a very much special needs Poppy, and fought off a fox, and
yep.
like, what a warrior princess that one was. But yeah, she was something special.
Okay, I'm ready for the last giveaway.
Okay.
We're actually giving away a bottle of Swanky sauce. We have all three of them up there. Hot, mild, and fire. You get to pick the one you want in the email you're going to send us when you win. You have to put in chat. Hang on, let me see if I can figure this out again. Share screen. Let's go to this one. Hashtag Swanky. SWANKY. Start collecting. There we go.
Who's gonna get the Swanky sauce?
I don't know. Who's gonna get it?
Well, right now it's just gonna be Crazy Cats.
We only have 3 people
No,
in.
kidding. No, they had there's a delay, right?
Yeah, I know. There's a big delay.
Yeah.
Big delay. Here they go.
Now all the Swanky sauces are coming.
Now they're all coming in. There they go.
Yep,
all right.
Somebody's gonna get it.
Somebody just hashtag Swanky. Don't tell us the flavor in chat. Doesn't matter. I mean, you could talk about it if you want. Yep. We were super late to the barn. I didn't think we were going to make it in under 2 hours.
No, not when you go 8 months in between.
Yeah, I know. That's a long time.
We have a lot to talk
I'm
about.
tired, though.
Samesies.
Yeah. And hungry. Hangry almost.
Somebody asked us, did you guys eat an early dinner or you haven't eaten yet?
We haven't eaten yet. We ate at IKEA at like 2 o'clock.
We had their Swedish meatballs.
If you've never been to IKEA, it's the only reason Tyler got in the car.
Tyler said he sat down at the dinner table there.
Oh,
and he
this
goes,
was...
I feel like a billionaire.
He goes,
like, this is real utensils.
This is like nice. I have a real fork and a real plate, and it's like there's a guy over there in a suit. He's like, I feel so. This is fancy. I'm like, it's IKEA. It's a cafeteria.
That's how you know he's
like,
not very
I'm
cultured.
eating salmon. He had salmon at IKEA. Like the kid was like,
they do
hey,
like their
the
salmon.
fact that they like the small. That's why, you know.
Yeah.
Even if you could afford it, don't buy steak every day. They lose the
appeal.
The appeal, if that makes sense.
The fanciness.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're pretty close.
What are we up to? I'm trying to get to 100, but I don't know if we're gonna get there. It's late in the evening. A lot of these people might not even like Swanky sauce. Who knows? We're 91. I think I'm gonna draw it at 100. 115. Never mind. We're moving. 117. Okay, just so you know, you only have to put it in once.
Well, I think they only count it once.
It only counts it once. So if you put it in 7 times, it doesn't matter. The computer's smart enough to decide, you know, that you only need to
don't forget your hashtag.
Put your name in once.
Uh-oh, not at Swanky. Hashtag Swanky.
Yeah, hashtag. That's the pound sign for anybody born before 1980. Was it a hashtag for you when you were a kid?
No.
Or was it a
pound sign?
Okay, so before 1990, you know, are any of you in here born after 1990? If you were, if we said pound sign, you wouldn't know what we were talking about.
The pound sign. Yeah,
it'd be like pound sign. Which one's that?
All right, I think
we're good.
We're slowing down in entries.
Here we go. Here it comes.
All right, we're drawing. Who's it gonna be?
Who's it gonna be? The bottle of Swanky sauce. Here it comes.
Oh my
Mel B. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, you can't bring it on the plane.
Nope.
Well, you gotta check it.
Yeah, it's got to go underneath the plane.
You got to check the back though.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh,
congratulations. Oh, I know.
Oh, why? She gonna bring it somewhere?
She's the one going to St. Louis with Bonnie.
I know, to pick up St. Louis goats. I'm just kidding. That was Louisiana goat.
Oh my goodness.
All right, Mel, shoot us an email. What flavor do you want?
Oh, that's funny. Congratulations. Thanks for playing.
That's funny. What are they talking about now?
Congratulations, Mel.
Nobody after 1990.
No,
Yep.
no,
No,
we don't.
no. We don't talk about those things.
We don't talk about those things.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah. All right, that is it.
Oh,
that
man.
is the end of this Q&A, the summer wrap up. We promise to not go 9 more months. We will figure this out. Wacky Wednesday might come back.
Oh, Louisville. Never mind. It's not St. Louis. I lose.
Louisville. Still.
I don't know.
Louisville,
We're going
Kentucky,
to
St. Louis.
Louisville.
Yeah, I think
No, it's too different.
2 different states.
I lose.
I don't know my geography that well.
It's okay.
I know a couple of states.
These
here.
are the night crews, so I'm usually like
Yeah.
sleeping with one eye open.
Oh, I think we found one.
reading
I was
them.
96.
Oh, good for you.
See? Hashtag
2,000 here.
hashtag all day long.
Oh, she knows the pound sign.
And the pound sign.
See, now I feel old. I graduated in 2001.
Next.
She was just a year old when I graduated.
She was.
That's gonna
Yep.
hurt.
That's gonna hurt.
Okay.
Yep, 96. That one, I was a junior in high school.
Why did you say Louisville, Tennessee? It's Kentucky.
It's Kentucky. That's what I said. No, I said Kentucky.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where's
I thought they
your-
were both Kentucky. Louisville and St. Louis. They're both Kentucky, aren't they? I don't know. Whatever. That's what
Missouri.
Google Maps
St.
is.
Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis, Missouri, Louisville, Kentucky.
Totally.
Yep, got it. We're good now.
Totally different. Remember
Good.
that one time you thought Antarctica?
79. There we go. Yes. You're with me on that one. 79.
Oh, see? Missouri. St. Louis is Missouri.
St. Louis is Missouri.
All right, we gotta go.
And Louisville is. Now they're all. But you don't have to put your age in chat. That's not what we're talking. I was just asking
Oh,
for
no.
19. The word hashtag pound sign. It all changed. At one point.
Tic-tac-toe board. That's
Tic tac toe board. Exactly.
What did I say?
What?
Did I say tic-tac-toe?
Yeah, tic tac toe board is the pound sign.
I know.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
We can start talking about rotary phones soon too. And this thing's called Yellow Pages, which was way before Google.
way before Google.
Way before.
Yeah.
It's why.
I feel like the Yellow Pages is more accurate though.
It's why all the companies were named AAA Cleaners, AAA Plumber. They just wanted to show up first.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, it's time to go
Well,
now. We'll see you in the morning
I gotta go.
in a little bit.
Hi, bees.
Thanks again, and bye-bye.
Bye bye.